it is comes out, then it will be just dungeons.
Just dungeons. You can reacquire the dragons for $30 a month.
Oh my god.
Yeah, exactly, precisely.
All right. So last time, big stretch on Rackentha. We did a bunch of sleuthing and discussing and whatnot in Mirage. We met a new little friend as the dragon egg inexplicably, or maybe explicably, hatched. And a little black dragon wormling explored Fehu's hoard for the first time, while you all remained within it. You also found out a few things. Loka revealed the fact that he had been afflicted with a lycanthropic curse.
Lycanthropy.
As a result of
get.
the Nephthys's Naya's bite, the magical item you acquired at auction in Althra.
You mean how I'm doing just fine and everything is okay?
Correct. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Loka told everyone that everything is fine and everything's okay. We just also need to get to the city of Fear now.
Yesterday.
Yeah. Pejmina's meteor hammer was examined by Han, the alchemist, for a duration, and you all took advantage of Astuar and Calandis reassembling a smaller and a little bit weaker version of a divination pool in the Misty Vale Inn. And managed to ask some specific questions and get some more or less specific answers. As a result, you have found that a couple of things you are looking for, namely a acolyte of Nephthys, the goddess of death and grief, Nesyth? I'm trying to remember. Yes, a Nesyth. They have different names depending on what continent you're on. An acolyte of Nesyth and an acolyte of Naya, both the god from whom Loka's curse originates, and a potential expert in death that might be of some help with Fehu's current condition. And so, in the afternoon, you all reacquired your riding companion from Althra to Mirage, Ruli, and his ladies. You haggled a little bit and acquired a new travel from Mirage to the town of Fear as fast as you possibly can, attempting to reach there and find the Acolyte of Naya before the next full moon. The four of you have set out, Ruli in the front of the cart. And I'd say just about now, not too much time has passed. You've ridden past the out of the sands of the Phasia region and are now settled into a somewhat small grassland in the spaces between Mirage, the Phasia, and the denser Natskog region, which I'm calling the Verdant Valley. Between the two sets of mountains on the either end of the east and west of it. I'm gonna bring us to a new map. Think. Call the people here.
Whoa.
And as you have reached a more forested grassland here, It's just about reaching the golden hour. Oh, my stream stopped working.
It sure did.
Bring it back. No, that's not
Holy
the right one.
crap, grass.
We can touch grass.
Finally.
Holy.
I've never done that before.
Saran's never seen grass.
The ground beneath your feet as you travel along
Wild.
this packed dirt road has shifted greatly from the dusky browns and yellows of sand to the verdant green of grass and trees. And as the sun is beginning to set, you find yourselves at the golden hour in the grasslands between places. I think it settles on you about now. The fact that like you all are moving at a pretty reasonably quick pace. Ruli is driving his Fenix fairly hard. They are named Brianna and Helga. And didn't set ambiance. Oh no. This is going to, it's not like this is a race. Despite the fact that you need to be there soon, this is going to be a bit of a marathon, and I think some of the tension of needing to leave right away may be starting to give way to the like, oh, okay,
Just
now it's
bored of
time
the
to
road.
wait for a while. And I'm curious,
true.
now that you're all kind of packed into the back of this cart, how you're all doing, how you're feeling, what you're thinking, what you wanna, if you have anything to say to one another. If I can pack everyone back of this cart.
What's the name of the board that I want to go to?
It is the Forest Pass.
Ah, there we go.
I can also summon you here. Think.
Oh, wow, this is so pretty.
Let's see. Zoran.
Also very foggy
And-
here.
Is Hasan not a named character anymore? There you are.
I'm not allowed to be a character. I'm just the one recording everything here. I'm the storyteller. The storyteller doesn't need to be named.
Oh, if you say so.
Sam will just say, so, nothing is guaranteed here. I believe, and I hate to bring this up, but we need to figure out a plan in case the worst should come.
No, I'm glad you said that because I was thinking exactly the same thing.
Whatever the case, the worst comes to worst, we will need to keep the beast cordoned off in an area where if worse comes to worse.
Yes, definitely away from others if possible.
Preferably open land so it can be seen. I would imagine also hopefully in a grassy area, that is not too dense.
I was actually kind of thinking the opposite. You have the fortunate ability to take flight if you need to. You could stay well out of the way. I know Zoran is also capable of this, but maybe only for a time. but you could try and stay elevated regardless. There's nothing ideal or good about this. I'm the only one who doesn't have that luxury.
I mean, I can't fly either. At least not yet.
If you somehow gained the ability to fly by the time things get to that point, we have bigger problems then. Even bigger problems.
Yeah.
You may not have to worry about staying out of its grasp that much. Well, actually, I've forgotten. Pashmina, do you have any ability to ignore difficult terrain, perchance?
Not specific. Well, let me actually check all my key abilities because there might actually be something there. I have slow fall. That's basically the extent of my. I also have. Well, no, nothing that ignores difficult terrain specifically. I have step of the wind and I have slow fall. But I am just also straight up dexterous if we want to table talk a little bit.
Yeah. Can we table talk this a little bit? Is that okay?
Sure, yeah, I'm...
Alright. Because I picked up a spell called Plant Growth, which, among other cool things, allows me to cause all normal plants in a 100-foot radius centered on a point to become thick and overgrown, essentially making it super difficult terrain, meaning you have to spend 4 feet of movement for every 1 foot. So I can just make something incredibly hard to escape from.
Yeah.
Which would be good for bogging the beast down if necessary.
Yeah, I could just. Yeah.
I will also say, I think it'd be completely reasonable to have this conversation in character, too. Your character knows their
if
abilities.
you know that.
Should the worst come, there's a bit of magic we use up in the mountains to help grow our own food, given the fact that, well, food does not grow up there. If retooled correctly, I can cause an area to be incredibly hard to move through. And the beast hopefully would not be able to escape that easily. And from there, should we have a good view from it from the top, from above, we could perhaps pick it off we could perhaps wear it down before it can even leave.
Maybe. So maybe a clearing with some tree cover, just...
I would prefer not trees, more just grasslands. Trees are going to be inevitable, but they will block our line of sight and get rid of and eliminate our ability to see them.
I'm more worried about its ability to see us. It would be nice to be able to pick and choose.
It won't even need to see us, is the thing. We're talking about a lycanthrope. If it doesn't see us, it will smell us. And if we cannot see it, it will track and hunt us.
Doesn't mean we have to make the job easy.
I suppose not, but in this sort of
I'm just saying, it would be nice, as someone who will have probably the hardest time escaping this thing, to have somewhere to go. If it somehow gets out of the range of this terrain-altering spell that you're talking about. I'm fast, but I don't know if I'm lycanthrope fast. And there is a chance that it could get out.
I suppose.
Regardless of what happens, I'm going to be on the ground for the most part. I think I'm more or less going to be running interference while you two help, essentially.
Can I remember, perhaps with a nature check, how clever lycanthropes are? Do they retain the intelligence of or what are they in? How smart are they usually?
Like lycanthropes as creatures?
Yes.
Um,
Like the beast form. Should they be uncontrollable? Or would I not have that specific knowledge?
I don't know. I'm trying to. I guess
We've
up to
established
you.
that Peshmina knows some stuff. I would
Yeah.
also, actually.
If the two of you want to go ahead and roll.
Survival.
I think for Peshmina, I think that it is survival. For Hassan, I'd say probably nature. Although nature is going to be harder than survival.
Two separate rolls then?
Yeah.
I rolled a 15.
Okay.
22.
22.
Good lord.
So even with a 22, like lycanthropy is not so. There is one thing that you know for certain that is a very useful piece of information in this context, but also a very frustrating one, which is that lycanthropy varies wildly depending on the subject of the lycanthropy. For example, you probably have fairly concrete examples, maybe even historical studies, read, Hassan, of like what lycanthropy of a commoner would look like, right? But there has been noted that the lycanthropy can change in strength, usually proportional to that of the creature who suffers from the lycanthropy. So, in the case of intelligence or wisdom, it would probably depend largely on the intelligence or wisdom of the creature who was beset by it. Peshmina, very similarly, you get more of the experiential. You have been taught that generally lycanthropes are like the underlying motivation is rage and hunger. Meaning the general impulses are to hunt and destroy. That, again, changes a little bit depending on who gets it. But, like, the ability to make smart decisions while suffering under a complete transformation, hard to say.
Well, I guess we need to understand is what also how Loka is going to behave if things go for the if things take a turn for the worse. In which case, Loka, I think we need you to describe if you were in a raging hunger and beyond control, how would you go about attacking something or hunting?
I mean, do you really want me to answer that question?
Yes, this is for our own survival, Loka.
Okay, because if I answer that honestly, I think you're all fucked.
Well, that's a start. How are we fucked?
I mean, like, you've all seen me kind of, like, angry before. Yeah, you haven't seen me, like, angry. Not really. I don't think I would stop.
So you would just run for the nearest person and do whatever you could to just rip it apart?
If I was hungry, yeah. Hungry,
Okay.
bloodthirsty. I mean, I'm already kind of both of those just on my own without this other thing happening, so. You know.
And so, well, that's good. Now we know that what you will first do is just seek out the nearest living thing and rip it to shreds. That's good. It's good to know that, okay.
I mean, I guess if you say so. Doesn't sound good.
I mean,
It's
no,
not good.
it's good that
I
we
kind
know.
of figured that was the case already, anyways.
Loka, how's your storm cloud right now?
That's a good fucking question. I don't know the size of it, but I think there is a lot of lightning.
Yeah.
Ominous grayness.
I take lightning to mean nervous in this context.
Like lots of little brief flashes.
Yes.
No thunder, just like these little sparks, almost like a tick. Little sparks jumping from little portions of the cloud to another, creating these little teeny flashes.
Yeah.
Gods, we don't even know how your thundercloud is gonna react.
See, and this is why I think regardless, we're not promised anything. We might not find this ideal clearing, or, I mean, by the time we get there, we're gonna be between several dense forests. I think if we're doing this, if we're going to have a plan, then let's plan for the true worst case scenario. Like, we just might be in the woods. And if that's the case, then I need to be on the ground running, and you two need to be elevated. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
All right.
It does, however, and they turn around from like where they were kind of sat. They were basically sat facing away from everyone, just kind of like their arms like on the side and like their head resting on their arms, just looking out. There's one mild problem. I can only fly for 30 minutes.
Right. Which is why I was kind of hoping that if there are trees, I hope they're damn tall ones.
I can hide in a lantern, but that would not get me through the night. And I also don't really want to be there right now. Shudders.
I'm hoping that you'll be able to stay out and help. The thing about lycanthropes is normal damage, weapon damage, is nothing to them. It's like barely splinters.
I'm
It
aware.
needs to be magic. So
We should be thankful that we're all there, that all of us are adept with magic or have magical weaponry then.
Can we just
It's-
pause, please?
Yes? Yes, Loka?
I don't like this.
Neither do I, Loka. I don't think any of us like this. We can stop now if you want, but you do realize that I need you to understand that we are going to have to continue to talk about this.
Just I don't want to hurt nobody.
His son just rubs the bridge of his nose, not really knowing how to deal with this.
well, then, how about this? We talk about. I mean, this isn't good for you either. We can try and make a plan that. You don't want to hurt us, and we don't want to hurt you. What can we do to make sure that you don't also come out of this worse than need be?
Don't know. I really wish I did, though. But I'm not gonna go through the same shit I've already gone through before. I refuse to do that!
I'm sorry, Loka.
Me too.
Whatever may happen, Loka, and we can leave it there for the time being. I will promise you that we will do everything in our power to make sure that you hurt nobody. Or at least no cognizant creature should you lose control. We are not going to let you hurt somebody. Will you trust us to do that?
Yeah, I do.
Good. I appreciate that you have that faith in us.
The sunset is getting lower and lower in the sky, and you can start to see rising opposite it the first of Gaiul's 2 moons rising above the horizon. It's getting dimmer on the road. You have a long journey ahead of you. And yet, the world out here is still beautiful. It's a shame you're going through it at such a pace, as hasty as you must to attempt to reach your goal in time, but this little grassland in the space between spaces gives you, if anything, a calm, a brief sense of calm. And on the road far ahead of you, as the light of the day gets darker and darker and turns to night, you see a bridge and the oncoming of dense woods. There will be a lot more time, as much time as you all want for roleplay in the upcoming travel. But I would like to tell you all how this is going to work effectively. So, there are 5 travel segments we have here. So we have the night 1, which is right now. Day 1, coming after. Night 2, the second day, and if all things go according to the plan, that is when you will arrive in Fear. Following that is a third night with a hard deadline at midnight, when the moon will be full. If you arrive at the last possible time segment, you have enough chance for 1 long rest in all of that travel, which you may choose to take at any point. You may also choose to take more than 1 long rest, but doing so will guarantee that you will not make it in time. We're going to continue with travel as night falls and the stars and moons begin to come out. Is there anything you all would like to do?
Give me a second.
The pace of the carriage is something that I think is worth discussing here. Insofar as you're on the road, you are traveling at a fast pace, which is about 1.5 times as fast as you would normally travel. Despite this is not a gallop. The foxes are not literally sprinting down the road, because doing such would exhaust them almost immediately. They are, however, moving faster than they would be normally on a normal day's travel. So they are, the usual hop, skipping along, but taking it at a bit of a greater pace. Ruli is doing his best to keep control of them on the road ahead of you, and kind of maintain keeping an eye on their endurance and morale, if that makes sense.
I know whatever anybody is doing, if they ever look at Loka, he just looks distant.
I think at one point, Haesong's going to look at Loka and say, Loka, have you ever played any board games? Games you've enjoyed? Are there any little games you enjoy? Little pieces, cards, whatnot?
Board games? Like I have to be bored with the game?
No, like dragon chess, cards, poker, the like. You've never played anything you enjoy?
I wouldn't. Isn't poker just a card game?
Yes. I mean, I'm just being general idea. Games, something you would enjoy.
What do you have in mind?
There's a little game with miniatures that we always used to like to play in the mountains. Used to call we used to call it combined warfare. It's a little bit of a complicated game, using little ships and airships and different kinds of units to to do little battles. I was just wondering if you'd be, I don't know, perhaps want to pass the time a little, or just could be anything you would want.
Don't know. Maybe. Sure? Sure.
Of course, then. No, this not exactly the most stable place, but I'm sure we'll be able to make do. And can I, with performance of creation, create a little game set?
A little game
of just
set? Yeah, absolutely, you can.
Yeah, 100%. And he'll just start setting up these little miniatures on the floor. And I guess they're a bit larger than size, harder materials, so they don't wobble as much.
Or just like bounce out of the cart immediately.
Yeah.
They got suction cups on the bottom.
Yeah.
Magnets.
Magnets.
There you go. Yeah.
And he's gonna make a little very quickly I guess hack a very simplified version of it, just to explain to Loka the rules of okay, so it's a game of tactics. You move your ships are very good against the ship artillery is very good against ground troops. Air artillery is very good against naval, and ground troops are very good against air via their ballistic weaponry. And he's gonna make this little rock paper scissors sort of triangle out of it, and is going to just hopefully start playing a game with Loka to facilitate and start talking to Loka over that. Is that okay?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. You're effectively trying to teach Loka how to play Warhammer.
Yes.
Yeah. Total War Rackentha.
I was thinking Fire Emblem, but sure.
Either way, hey, either
Fire
or.
Emblem works too.
It's a very it's a good point of reference.
Yeah.
Fire Emblem is fine.
This is going to be a little weird. Hey, San, I would like you to roll. I don't think this is an I think this is a charisma skill. I want you to roll performance to see how well you can teach this game.
Okie doke. I'm getting out.
I would say, Loka's not a stupid fish.
No, no. Just that games are... That's why I don't think it's actually on you, Loka, to be able to learn how to play the game. I think I'm curious. I just want to see how this goes. I want to see how effectively... Even the simpler board games are hard to teach, you know?
Games are hard to teach specifically.
Yes, come on, Sophie's dice. Yeah,
but yeah, while Hasan is figuring that out, Loka, I'm curious, how do you feel engaging wise in this?
I think it depends on how good Hasan teaches.
One moment.
I think initially Loka is, I think distraught is probably the best word to use. Mm-hmm. I think he's going back to losing. Oh shit! I can't remember my own fucking characters' names. Who's the elf?
Fing?
No, the other one.
Not
Arviston?
sure. I don't.
Yeah, I don't know
Alistair?
if we know that one.
He's dead, so.
I have no idea. Yeah.
I think it's Arviston. I'll have to go and look that up because I don't remember where I wrote that down. But yeah, I think he's thinking back to that.
Arviston Antarum.
Yeah, okay, I was right then. It is Arviston. I think he's thinking back to that and just. I don't think he necessarily thinks that's his fault, but he doesn't want to go through that again.
Yeah. And
so he's just kind of living in that space.
My role is in text for voice.
little bit of a pit of dread.
Yeah. Oh,
Oh
yeah,
my God,
absolutely.
You rolled a natural 20.
Holy shit.
As only a bard can do, Heisan, just eloquently describing, like so accessibly describing the intricacies of this game. Like, Loki, you have no problem picking up on just like on a very fundamental level just how the game works and how you would play it.
Sick. All right.
I think you do that well enough that everyone in the cart now knows how to play
So I was
this
to say, I
game
think
too.
Peshmina is vaguely interested not in playing, but wants to give Loka an advantage in this game by talking, because she's been friends with Heisan for quite a long time now, kind of knows how his brain works, wants to like give Loka like ideas about like, oh, he's gonna do this.
Yeah,
I know
Heisan, is this
exactly.
something you pulled out back when you used to you traveled briefly with Tanya's? Like, did you
yes,
try and get the other
definitely.
How effectively were you at playing with the dance performers? Were they into this? Were they not into this?
Rovan was probably into it.
Rowan was into it. You had like
I'd
one or
imagine
two
most
people
were
that
like,
were really into it.
this is fun. I like fun little card games. This is a bit much. I'm guessing
Well, and they're usually preoccupied with other things.
Look, we all love Three Dragon Ante, but not everyone who's into Goldfish is going to try playing Warhammer 40,000. You know?
Why the fuck not?
That's what I'm saying.
Rehearsals go so long, y'all. We're tired. We've got jobs.
Rovan misses 2 cues on a performance because he's rolling a handful of d6 in the back of the cart. But yeah, you have no problem teaching this.
Hey, Sam, do you want to do a quick roll?
yes. You could. Wisdom or intelligence? Which one do you think would be?
Which do you think it would make sense to play this game with?
Oh, may I just make up rules? very
Go for it.
quickly?
Absolutely you
Okay.
can.
So, the goal is to these will be done in attack and defense rounds, I guess. So we just roll off to see who rolls first, but then it's essentially going to be an intelligence attack against a wisdom save. So essentially, whoever's attacking does an intelligence check, and whoever's defending does the wisdom check. And then whoever rolls the highest wins, that gets one. Should I just write this out, or am I making this too complicated?
I think that's
Essentially-
totally fine. Yeah, if you want to do that in like, say, basically like best of 3, whoever wins 2 rolls first.
Yeah, but we switch off intelligence and wisdom.
Yeah, for sure.
I guess. So roll off to see who does intelligence and who does wisdom first.
Let's
All
just start with, let's say that Loka goes first, because it's Loka's first time playing the game.
Okay.
So Loka gets to roll intelligence, and Heisan rolls wisdom. Pejmina, are you helping Loka? Is that the
Yes.
intention here? Okay, so Loka has advantage.
And don't forget you have that +1 to all your ability checks.
Yes.
Oh, right, because of the necklace makes you better at board game.
Yeah,
Just a little bit. Just a little bit.
just a little bit. All right, so you get advantage. You might need it. 13. Oh, yeah. I only got a 13.
All right. So wisdom on
Oh, and that's
Heisan.
with the +1 too.
That's gonna be a 9.
All right, so Loka has 1
Oh.
success. Now the other way, Heisan intelligence, Loka wisdom.
All right.
Natural 1.
I only got an 8.
Still
So-
better. So
Wow.
Heisan is at 0, Loka's at 1.
All right.
Loka, do intelligence.
Intelligence. Fucking shit. Fucking shit. A 10.
Get your
10.
bad rolls out now. Actually, no. You should. Never mind.
That's gonna be a 16.
Yes, I will
16.
get
You're
my
speaking.
bad
All right,
rolls out
so
now.
still want to
Way
know.
too early.
Heisan? Heisan intelligence, Loka wisdom.
All right, I gotta do wisdom.
19 on intelligence.
Okay.
Oh.
Nah, I've got 14.
All right, 1 and 1. Loka, intelligence. Hasan, wisdom.
14.
21.
All right, still 1 and
Oh
1.
my god.
Hasan, intelligence. Loka, wisdom.
We just stumbled into a minigame.
Yeah. 6.
21.
All right, still 1 and 1. Loco, intelligence. Hasan, wisdom.
Whoa, net 20!
Natural 20. All right. Hasan,
Natural 1.
natural 1.
Oh my god.
You know what? I think that's the game then, right there.
Yeah.
Is yeah, Loka, you absolutely fucking sweep Hasan at this game. With help from Pejmina. Pejmina is very much giving you some pointers on Hasan's usual strategies, having observed him play this game a couple times.
How do
I
I
know
like?
your
I like to
ways.
think she was doing this furtively, and Hasan's just like, "How did you know I was going to do that? How did you?" And he's just kind of baffled.
Pashmina's just smiling. This is fun to her.
No, that is
Just a little smug.
good game, I suppose.
Yeah,
And I-
son, I kind of expected you to be better at this because, I mean, maybe it's just beginner's luck, but you kind of got your ass kicked.
Yes, I twitch. I guess I did.
Oh
If you
no,
don't
your
already
winning
have it-
streak. Oh no.
If you don't already have it, the three of you can have inspiration.
Whatever will you do?
Hasan takes a look up at the cloud. Is the cloud looking a little less nervous?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
That's good. Hasan's gonna see the cloud and just go, whatever, and he dispels the game.
I mean, that was a pretty tense game. Some good back and forth there.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I had it in the bag from the get-go. But, you know, there was never a doubt in my...
God, sea artillery is overpowered.
I just know how to do it. I'm sorry to say, I just know how it works. I've done the sea artillery.
A gifted mind.
The ballista's just
Lived
super
experience.
undercosted for what it does. It's Zoran, are you getting up to any reading on the road?
They are, but like intermittently, just kind of like a little bit of back and forth. It's, I think they're just trying to distract themselves from everything going on.
Mm-hmm.
Because they were incredibly upset when they eventually crossed over and they're like, I shouldn't be doing this right now. That makes no one happy. And I've just kind of like started taking to just like looking out at the scenery and taking it in and then just kind of like flipping through the few books that they have.
Yeah. Go ahead and roll perception for me.
Okay, give me 1 second as I pull out my funny dice. Perception?
Mhm.
Yeah. Open. That's a 16 on the die plus 4, so dirty 20.
Dirty 20 is pretty good. You see between readings and kind of listening to the rest of the group and looking out onto the road, you notice Forest getting closer as you near entering the woods. And then you take a moment to look up. It's almost fully dark now, though the pastures are surprisingly well illuminated by Gaiul's 2 moons. Though, now looking up, you're starting to notice some cloud cover starting to form overhead. And I think you're from the desert.
Yep. They super are.
You're not sure what that could mean.
No, they don't.
I think you have a strong suspicion. Having read about clouds before.
They've seen enough, I think, of Loka's own storm cloud, but I genuinely don't think they've ever really, like... They've seen rain maybe, like, once. Maybe.
Very rare desert
It
rain.
is super rare. So I think they're just watching the clouds then.
Excellent.
They're just staring up and just kind of, like, almost marveling at them. Like, obviously they know clouds, but just kind of, like, looking at how different they are here.
Absolutely.
I think they're playing the mental game of just like, okay, what does that cloud look like? As best as I can with how dark it's getting.
Every once in a while, you'll get a glance. You'll see Hasan like sneak a little glance at you, and then write a little something down in his in his I guess archive
Zoran
of
dedicated.
in his Zoran dedicated notebook.
How closely are you paying attention to them?
I'm guessing this is during the game.
Okay.
So
Maybe not that much.
Although, if you want to tell me something that Hasan notices, I will happily notice it.
It makes sense that Hasan would. If you pay really close attention, you can see Zoran's tail wagging just slightly. Just like very slightly, just back and forth. That's
Amazing.
all.
That is.
As
That will make a very silly detail in the biography.
Oh, they're gonna hate that. Perfect. Perfect.
as the first leg of travel comes to a close, and you can just start to see the moon setting once again, and the sun starting to peek up from the opposite end of the horizon, you start to feel a drop, and then another, and then a few more. The rain begins lightly.
Oh, is this a covered wagon, or is it
It
just
is
kind of
not. It is an open wagon. You cross the river into the verdant valley, across a cobblestone bridge that has clearly seen some time, and you can see each of the individual drops of rain pattering into the surface of the smooth river beneath you. And you continue on the travel, and the rain gets harder and harder.
Aww.
It is an absolute soaking rain. And while this is a well-trodden road, it is not a paved road.
No! Oh my gosh. It's... Okay.
And the dirt quickly turns to mud.
To mud.
So, we are going to do some things. We're going to do something called a skill challenge. So this is done with the group. The basic idea here is this is accounting for effectively the next several legs of travel. We're going to do this kind of pseudo in montage rather than in playing it out explicitly. But basically, you all are going to try to make a certain number of skill checks before you acquire 3 failures. So those skill checks are in the effort of getting this cart through the rain, and yourselves through the rain and muck, from the edge of the Verdant Valley all the way to Fear in the next 2 days without losing too much time. There are a couple of skills that will always work for this. That is specifically survival and animal handling to help guide the cart or help manage the Phoenix. But I am very much open to you being creative with your skills. If you can think of a skill that you have and an application for it to overcome some sort of obstacle, if you can think of an obstacle that would come up because of muddy road travel and have a solution to that via a skill, please suggest it, and I'm all ears. We are looking to get 5 successes before we roll 3 failures. If we hit 3 failures before we hit 5 successes, you will be unable to make it to fear in time. Does that make sense?
We know the number that we have to beat on these skill checks?
Depends on the skill.
Okay.
So, relevantly now, because the Phoenix will not get to rest, animal handling will always be an available skill, but it will get harder the more times you use it. Survival, not so much. Survival's a flat DC. Survival here is a 16. But if you can think of a more effective way to use other skills, like I said, I'm all ears.
Survival is kind of Peshmina's whole bit.
Also, relevantly, no one character can do the same skill twice.
Right.
So, we couldn't have one character just pass 5 survival checks.
Right.
If one of you passes a survival check, then someone else needs to do a survival check. Or if one of you passes a survival check, they then need to do a different skill. This is a new thing, but I think it'll be interesting. So, is there any skill check any of you would like to attempt to help navigate your cart through the muck? Or keep your spirits up? Or overcome an obstacle in the road? Etc. Keep yourselves dry, keep yourselves warm, keep the cart in condition. Any of those things. I think there is a... Yes, rain ambient. Perfect. Rain, comma, medium.
Yeah.
Increase the fog.
I'm gonna be real with everyone here. I have nothing.
Surely not. Hold on.
I have a +1 to the 2 skills possible. Even if I had Zeron like retreat into the lantern to like try and get like every blanket that they had in it to like try and keep everyone dry, that's just not gonna be possible.
Insight's pretty malleable. You could do something with that. Like,
If you can give me a good reason to use any of your skills, get creative.
Not exactly the skill, but with Arcana, I guess through performance of creation, prestidigitation, Hassan can attempt to maintain the cart, or at least maintain conditions.
You have used your performance of creation and have not been able to long rest.
Okay, thank you for clarifying that.
But I think that's reasonable if you can think of a way to use your inspiration or spell casting. Can also make those skill checks as expected. Just the 2 defined.
I think the first thing that, because I'm trying to figure out like what is Loka doing right now, you know? And I think the big thing for him right now is he is trying to keep his head proverbially above water. So I almost think like a religion check. Not that he's like very religious, but I think Yeah, I don't
I'm
know what that
so
was.
sorry. I'm gonna go yell at him real quick.
You don't have to do that.
Full screen, full volume. I think some sort of like prayer, or like maybe just taking that time to like write a message to like Finglash. Something along those lines.
Would you be okay with extending that to the group as a whole too? Like not only trying to keep yourself settled, but trying to like kind of maintain cohesion as a group, like kind of a this sucks right now, but you know what? We're gonna figure it out together, and doing that, like keeping our heads in the game and trying to focus on what matters is going to help us get through the fact that we're soaked and this is miserable. Would you be okay with that?
Yeah, I'm thinking. Sorry. I think that would work. I think we can do that. Would that still what do you think? What kind of check that might be?
DC? Yeah, I think you can make a few for that. I think religion would work. I think performance or persuasion would work. Honestly, I'd probably be okay with perception, just like trying to keep tabs on everyone's emotional state, basically. I guess that would be a little bit more insight. Yeah, like one of those to effectively kind of spearhead keeping everyone's morale high. And I'd let you pick any one of these. DC would probably be 15.
I think in that case, it's almost a performance, right?
Yeah, I think that's reasonable.
Performance or persuasion, I suppose. It's kind of like two checks at once. It's like a persuasion for myself and a performance for everybody else. But I mean, it's a +2 regardless.
Sure.
But I think it's kind of either one of those. So
Yeah.
I'll go ahead and give that a roll.
All right.
See what we get. That's a 15 on the die for a 17.
15 on the die. You have one success. Yeah, Loka, describe a little bit then how that kind of goes, if you wouldn't mind.
I think so. The reason why I had to think a little bit before I replied to you was because I think it's an internal process before it becomes an external process. So I think with a little bit of like the cheering up from Heisan with the game into it's raining now and I enjoy being wet, like excuse me, too. Like taking just some real like reflective time and seeing everybody's mood, feeling his own mood out. That would then turn into like the Loka that we've kind of been seeing for the campaign so far of like,
Okay, we know we can do this. Just push it up the hill. We got this. Nose around, you don't have to do it. I know your arms can't support it. Hey, son, you do whatever you can. Pass me now, can nose around you. Come on.
Yeah, absolutely. That's great. You have one success.
Sorry, it's very hard thinking of practical applications here.
Yeah. Little bit of lateral skill thing.
Two casters in a survival situation.
I look, Arcana is useful. Like, Heisan, do you think some creative application of some of your utility spells could be useful here?
I could do what I was going to do before, which is just prestidigitate, keep everything warm, and
Constantly casting prestidigitation to keep things dry and warm would probably honestly help a lot.
Okay.
Because if there's one thing Peshmina knows, being wet in a bad situation, not good. Not good for you.
And honestly, doing that
For a
not just
prolonged time.
on the lot of you, but also like the foxes. would probably help a lot for their travel. Trying to keep the cart clean so it doesn't get muddied and like broken down. I would absolutely give you, I'd say Arcana for that.
23.
23. I was gonna set the
my
DC
God.
at 20, so yeah, that works.
Holy shit.
Because it is a lot of casting. But like, yeah, I think through a lot of this journey, Heisan, you are just right. Like cast. Just keeping your prestidigitation up. It's almost an effort of like focus as much as it is spell casting. But over the course, you actually managed to keep people maybe not purely comfortable, but definitively more comfortable than they would have been otherwise.
Yes.
And that is 2 successes.
I know for sure I want to roll survival.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm trying to think of how I want to be. I think I just want to keep us from getting stuck in the first place.
Yeah. So trying to avoid major rocks, trying to make sure you don't hit a mud pit that's too deep, basically like helping Ruli a little bit with like just the fundamentals of guiding the cart through awful terrain.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And I mean, presuming it's stormy, it's also probably dark, using my dark vision just a bit to like... Can probably see at least slightly better.
Yeah, absolutely. Go ahead and give me that survival check. Looking for a 16.
Okay. I'm gonna use inspiration.
Okay.
if I can.
You
Is that
absolutely can.
Okay, I wasn't sure if that was if the rules were suddenly different. That's a 12 plus 5.
17.
What was
So-
it? I forget what the DC was.
16.
Oh, okay.
So you do make it. So yeah, a guiding eye. It's helpful that Heisan has been keeping things clean because it helps to you take a lot of initiative in just making sure that like honestly the fennec foxes don't trip over anything. They don't get caught in snares. They don't
Probably
go into
sitting up
brambles.
with Ruli now and just like turn that way, swerve around that.
Being a survival co-pilot, basically. Yeah, that is 3 successes, no failures.
I have a dumb idea.
No ideas are dumb, let me know.
Is there a way that we could possibly like help move even a little faster if I were to retreat into my lantern and like physically lighten the load of the cart for the max amount of time I can be in the lantern? It's like, I don't know how mechanically that would work. Because otherwise I have nothing that I can do other than just straight rolling.
I will say absolutely yes. Yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense.
I don't know if that would be like an assist to Ruli?
It'd
Instead?
be, honestly, it'd be most of an assist to the foxes.
Yeah.
To help them effectively be carrying your weight in less weight in the cart.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's say...
It would free up some weight, which theoretically would help them move a little more or like ease their burden a little.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to count it as a full skill success, but let's go ahead and say that that's like a -2 on the DC for the next skill check.
Okay.
But yeah,
And I'll
absolutely.
It's the most I can do without like... I don't have any skills or spells that can help with
Can
it,
you
so I'm
roll
like,
me just a straight D20 luck to see how much the incense has dissipated the corpse smell in the lantern?
Absolutely. Not a problem. 12?
12? It's mostly gone, but being someone who has spent a lot of time in this lantern, you know it's still there.
Mm-hmm.
It's not gone entirely. You know that there was a corpse in here. Your nose can tell that there was a corpse in here.
Yeah.
But it is not actively uncomfortable in the way that it used to be.
Mm-hmm.
It does smell very strongly of incense.
Oh, I'm sure. They're gonna come out of it and just go into a coughing fit.
But yeah, you absolutely retreat in your lantern for a little while.
It's the most I can do.
3 successes.
Trying to think of like can I make sleight of hand work?
Giving
Would
giving
be
the
a bit of a
foxes just the
stretch.
right giving them just the right scritches in just the right places.
Sleight of hand is more
Don't worry.
trickery than.
I was trying to figure out how I could put persuasion in for the foxes, so it's okay.
I mean, I could just do a straight up animal handling, but I don't think my animal handling is any better than anyone else's. I only have a +2.
You have room for
That's
3
fine.
failures. It's not like
Worth
you
a shot.
instantly fail. It's worth a
It's
shot.
worth a shot, maybe.
I
for
am
it.
willing to try it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Giving Ruli just like a small break.
Yeah, for sure. I think you will end up taking a turn with the reins with animal handling, if that's all right. So looking for a 16.
I rolled a 16.
You rolled a
Yes,
16.
I rolled a 16.
Yep, that's 4 successes. Yeah, you take over for a bit. It's roughly the second day of travel now. It is light once again, but the rain has continued on. And yeah, Ruli just looks haggard. And taking the reins for a little bit, they are significantly more unruly than Millie ever was. But
Whoa.
with a careful hand, you do manage to guide
Oh,
them
ladies.
quite effectively.
Okay.
4 successes. No failures yet.
I still have my inspiration, too, which gives me slightly better odds to just do a straight roll.
You absolutely can if you want to.
Are there any objections?
I don't think so.
I can try something.
By all means.
With nature, could I perhaps suss out maybe some, I guess, food that would help the fennec foxes keep going? Like, no, that's a bit much, isn't it?
No, I think that's fine. It'll be a high DC. I'm gonna say 18. But yeah, I think that's fine. And we'll throw the -2 on that from Zeron's Lantern Time. So that'll be a straight 16.
Is that okay? Is that okay? Okay, Caroline?
Oh, by all means, help yourself.
That's not gonna work out. That's gonna be a 9.
All right. So that is
A 2
now
plus
4
7.
successes and 1 failure.
I just can't find anything that I just fruitless searching for good food.
It was worth a shot. I'm fine with spending my inspiration then to just double roll animal handling.
Take your own turn at the reins.
Sure.
Absolutely.
I don't have much of a bonus, but literally anything will help.
We're
So I
gonna
have
do
to beat a 16, correct? Does it have to be over 16 or can it be
Wait,
16?
that's his on.
Meter beat.
Need to be. Okay. First one is not good, so I'm glad I'm re-rolling. The first one was a 5. Oh, that's a 16 on the die!
16 on the die.
16 plus 1.
Excellent. Yeah, it's this is not something you are used to, Zeron. This is something that you have picked up some pointers on from Ruli and Pejmina as the journey has continued. But the two of you do manage to guide the Phoenix together through the woods. At the pace you are going currently, you will have no problem getting to Fear with enough time.
Right.
Is there anything you would all like to do in the process, or would you like to arrive at Fear?
I think Peshmina gives Ruli 2 more gold for his troubles. For the bad weather.
Hassan is going to telepathically message Loka briefly using message.
Okay.
And say, Loka, forgive me for bothering, but there was something you said earlier during our troubling discussion. You said you don't want this to happen again, or something along those lines. Is it? Forgive me, but I'm far too curious. Has something similar happened before?
Mm. How does Loka reply to that?
Scholar's honor. Everything that is written in the book stays in the book.
I think the reply that you get immediately is just yes and no elaboration.
His son really wants to press Loka on this.
You may.
I do hate to repeat what I said earlier, but for the sake of everyone's safety, this conversation needs to happen. We can distract ourselves with all the fun and games we wish,
But it does not alleviate the threat that all of us are under. If there is anything you know that you can tell us, or me, that would help prevent you from hurting anyone, things that you know about yourself that you are not comfortable with, I cannot force you to do anything, but I beseech you, please, do tell me so I can help you.
you do not have to go into specifics. But anything to get an inkling of what you might do.
Well, I mean, I've kind of already said what I would or wouldn't do. Well, more so what I would do. What's likely to happen. Um, as for what happened before, that kind of has nothing to do with this situation. I mean, I've lost a very good friend of mine. And that's what I don't want to have happen again.
I am sorry to hear that. Kason was about to say something along the lines of, well, the very well, well, well. I don't know. He was about to say something bad, but he just like stops himself and says,
Well, I am very sorry to hear that. You do not have to talk about that.
I don't really like talking about it. Not even Trisk or Finn like talking about it. It's a very difficult time for us when that happened.
Do you want to talk about it? It seems to be on your mind.
thinking what Loco would do, what he would say.
Hassan's just cleaning up with his prestidigitation.
I think the answer that you get back is,
I don't want to talk about it in this weird mind space that you have set up. If I'm gonna do it, I want to talk about it like for real.
If that would make you more comfortable.
It would, yeah.
And you may do it at your leisure. Just know that, worst comes to worst, we have no intention on dying. And I meant what I said before. I will make sure that you hurt nobody. Or rather, you do not kill anyone. We have the benefit of a couple days planning.
Yeah, that's true.
Worst comes to worst, you'll wake up with a. Worst comes to worst, you'll wake up with a bit of wild animal in your mouth.
Well, that wouldn't be the first time something like that's happened, I guess.
Good. Then you should have no trouble. Then you should have no trouble getting through it. Should it come to that.
oh boy.
Jesus Christ.
Sorry, I keep trying to think of how Hassan would talk, and none of it's nice.
No, I love the fact that Hason is actually tactless. I like that fact. It makes conversations with him very fun. And awkward.
Well, I mean, think too about like how Loka and Hasan have gotten along thus far. You know, like it's been tenuous.
Funny.
You know what, hey son, I'll make you a deal.
Yes, I'm listening.
If we all make it out of this alive, I will tell you why my group broke up before. I will go into full detail and all that stuff.
And if something goes wrong, then what will you get in return?
I don't know. I don't think I get anything in return in this case, because I think there's a good possibility that maybe you're dead. So,
Oh, that's silly. Yes, everything needs an exchange. But here, I have an idea. Should something go wrong, you can do whatever you want with one of my journals.
what? It's just a book, though.
Oh, I thought you would have just torn it up or something. That seems to be something you've wanted to do, isn't it?
I don't want to destroy your work. I just want you to stop sticking your nose in places it doesn't always belong.
Oh. Well, that's gonna be much harder to do. But should things go wrong, I will endeavor to do that. For you.
Thank you, I guess.
You're very welcome.
Glad somebody's getting enjoyment out of this conversation.
Sorry.
Holy shit.
I'm sorry I've made this incredibly awkward.
I love Heisan so much. It's gonna be so hard to mind my own business. I love you. I love you. I love you. I love I love Heisan.
So, as you have secured travel, you are currently set to arrive in Fear exactly, roughly, I say exactly, about 12 hours ahead of when you need to. Would you all like to stop and take a long rest?
At risk of taking exhaustion.
Yes, we're going to be rolling con saves if you don't. But, additionally, we know that you are a certain distance from Fear. You may not know necessarily exactly where the Acolytes of Naya are.
Yeah, that's
I
rough.
think even locating them locating them is going to be much harder if we are already exhausted.
Yeah, that's kind of my thinking too. Taking exhaustion is really bad.
That's an immediate disadvantage on our checks, and we need our checks to get through this.
I am in favor of a rest.
Yes, me too.
John and Loka?
So, if we take the rest, do we risk having to do skill checks again? Or...
You'll arrive in Fear with about 4 hours lead time before midnight.
I see.
If you don't, you'll arrive in Fear with a full day ahead of time, but you will either have passed or failed con saves to see if you are exhausted.
I'm staying up.
Okay.
Right, because Zoran doesn't need
Oh
to.
yeah, you don't
So
even.
sleep and rest are different things.
This is true.
Yeah.
This is true. I forgot about that fact.
If
too.
the group
won't
rests, you will
benefit.
you'll still benefit from a long rest. You just won't be sleeping, presumably. Or are you choosing to forego?
I'm choosing to
rest?
forego.
Okay.
Yeah, and I don't.
I'm
have
going to
anything
figure things out while everyone is resting. That is the best case of my time right now.
All right.
Because even with my feet for it, I have to be doing light activity. Going around a town and asking is not light activity.
Right.
So I'm not going to be getting the benefits.
Okay.
I'm fully choosing to do that.
Yeah, sounds good. Then you all find somewhere along the road with some reasonable tree cover. Luckily, there are lots of trees. To set camp, Ruli makes a small fire. You are able to actually unpack your bedrolls and try and get a little bit of rest before you arrive in Fear the following evening.
Oh, we're not in Fear yet.
Not yet.
No.
Oh, well then, I'll stay up,
You
but I'll
should-
do the light rest. I thought we were in Fear.
No,
Which is
it's
why I was
resting
saying-
before arriving in Fear. If you
That's
want.
fine. I'll rest and just kind of keep an eye on everything.
Right. Then yeah, absolutely. Have a dedicated watch, effectively.
Pretty much.
Yeah, you are kind of, the road has reached the fringes of the Gnat's Cog at this point. And you can all go ahead and take a long rest. And Zoran, I would like a perception check from you.
Absolutely. That's an 11 on the die plus 4.
Plus
15.
4, 15. as you are sat here on what should be the last day of travel, your companions now resting around you as you kind of stay up. Have you maintained the fire?
They would have, yeah, throughout the night.
For sure. You look at the surrounding cover around you, the trees and dense brush. What's Saran feeling here in this place right now? This is a far cry from their normal habitat.
A little bit. I think the first thing is trepidation. I think that they're nervous just because of everything going on. That I don't think they've had the time to just really sit back and think, I'm finally out of the desert. I'm doing what I've always wanted to do. I am in a new area. I can finally accomplish my dreams. And I think it's just, that's there, like, nagging them in the back of their head, but with just the uncertainty of Loka's condition and the time left to fix it. I think, honestly, I think they're just tired.
Mm-hmm.
The last week has just been exhausting. From everything that happened in Althra to now. Our group hasn't really had a break.
Yeah.
And I think that's just very emotionally, just mentally draining.
Very much so. There is a sound that pulls you from your thoughts. Kind of brings your attention from that sort of turmoil inside you, snapped back to the environment around you. It's just a very deep ribbit. And then another. Few more, and you note back in the tree cover around you. Little reflections of the fire, the light of the campfire in sets of eyes in the woods, deep set behind the trees. Not moving, but just watching.
Are these small eyes, like, close to the ground?
No,
eyes?
they're several feet off the ground.
Tree frogs.
Little people.
Hopefully not poisonous.
Am I gonna play Duran how I
Monster?
want them to be played, or am I gonna play them how they're gonna be?
Be true to yourself.
They're gonna grab one of the unlit torches and just kind of, like, hover it over the fire so it's lit. Hop off the cart and just kind of take a few steps forward
As you
to just kind of look at it a little closer.
Taking a few steps forward, you see several of those glints very quickly go out as they recede into the deep leafy brush of the woods. But before it can get away, you see the large, kind of dark bluish mottled hide of this enormous frog, maybe like 5 feet tall.
Oh my god.
limbs kind of lumbering, almost like gorilla-like. And you almost think you can feel the earth shift a little bit as it pistons powerful back legs and hops out back into the darkness of the wood.
Loka, in his sleep, just says,
Oh, my cousin.
I like Loka being a sleep talker.
I don't know how Zoran would like act around this, because this is super foreign. I don't think they know exactly what they are.
Big ass frog.
Just giant frogs. I don't even think they know what a frog is, other than seeing like a photo of one in a book. I think they're just kind of like make like a circle around the cart and just like continuously walk around it with the torch, like relighting it every once in a while when it starts to dim, to like try and keep like these giant frogs away from the cart.
It's like, what the fuck?
For the remainder of the night.
Yeah, absolutely. You don't see any more glints for the rest of the night. And all is quiet, relatively speaking. The woods are... This environment is more alive than you are used to. There are constant
it should be like way louder than the desert, probably.
Birds and mammals and night creatures and insects, especially insects. As just the rainforest as a whole is its own beast, making many strange noises. You do see the little flickerings of lightning bugs hovering around every once in a while through the tree cover. But no more giant eyes peering at you from the trees, as far as you can tell.
I think they almost feel claustrophobic.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that makes any sense.
Yeah, I think so.
There's so much. It's so dense. It's so loud.
I feel like they just feel really like enclosed. Just because everything is so close.
It's probably
and there's
humid
so
too.
much.
It's probably
Yeah.
It's like, you can feel the air here, but like,
oh yeah, it is. I mean, it's easier to feel the air now because it is pouring rain. But like even otherwise, it is humid. Not as warm as the desert, but it is warm.
No. Yeah. I think the
very
biggest thing
different
is
kind of
just
warm.
it's wet.
It is. Everything is wet, and Hassan's asleep, not here to cast prestidigitation all the time.
Mm-hmm.
So it is a very damp night.
Mm-hmm.
But before too long, your companions are waking again. Would you all like to continue on the road to fear?
nope.
I think actually Zoran's gonna talk to Hassan real quick.
Yeah.
Yes.
A question for you. I require your academic knowledge.
Oh, what can I do for you? I will happily provide anything I can.
How familiar are you with the wildlife in the area?
I'm not one of the foragers, so I can say I've never been out here before. Although I've read about it plenty. Occasionally, there'll be some of us who go out to the fringes of the jungle, forage. But so I know from their own accounts and what they write.
Understandable. Is there any large life forms that make their home in the forests here?
With basic knowledge, would I just know that?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and yeah, there are actually several, quite a few. There's many species. There's also several species of just large frogs.
Yes, of course, plenty of large creatures. It's very much like how, like the creatures, like how the creatures of the Phaeacia are sometimes abnormally large, such as the worms or the foxes. Creatures around the area, including the gnat's cog, can grow to what would be considered in other parts of this continent and the world itself to be abnormal in their girth. Quite
I just
fascinating, though.
stumbled across one last night, and I was curious.
Oh, ooh! Tell me, what did you find? Was it one of the snakes, perhaps? Because that would surprise you.
Snake.
Yes, of course.
No, it was not. It had legs. It resembled an amphibian, a frog, sort of.
Oh yes, giant frog. Should I just roll nature at this point to see what I know about them?
Yeah, if you would like to.
16.
As Zoran kind of gives a bit of a thorough description, as thorough a description as they can muster, I suppose.
16.
They're trying their hardest.
With the 16, there are a few options. This is definitely large enough, and it seems maybe grotesque enough that this would not simply be a giant frog. It could have been bullywug, which are like a frog humanoid people. It could be slod, which are big kind of frog creatures that are somewhat magical, sometimes telepathic, sometimes they can do shapeshifty things. It could be there's a particular species of like, they're kind of like dart frogs, and they're like they live in the trees specifically. They kind of do an amount of almost like nest building in the trees properly, but they don't seem like they would grow that size. Maybe there are a few options for sure.
I mean, there's many possibilities, some of which aren't even frogs. There are many things that grow out here. I doubt it would be something like one of the many tree frogs. Usually they don't grow that big, although they grow big. It could have been a bullywug even, perhaps. They're humanoid. Are bullywugs cognizant to the same level as your average?
Yeah.
Yeah. Which would be much more concerning, which would mean somebody was spying on us. Or heck, it could have been a slod, which is a weird magical sort of reptilian amphibious creature, which is more magical, which would also be slightly disturbing, but there are many things that could possibly be. Also, I mean, I wouldn't know too much just based on your description.
Is there anything more that I can give, or is there, like, can I try and suss out which one it was? I don't know if I'm knowledgeable enough.
Go ahead and roll nature for me as well.
Yeah. No. I rolled a 1.
Ooh.
No idea.
Fucking big frog, man.
That's a giant frog.
Kinda
really big frog.
spooky. The idea of that it was watching you and maybe doing so not because it was some sort of animal, but because it was like an intelligent group of people watching you and your friends sleep. A little distracting.
Yikes.
Conceptually.
Scary.
Yikes. Spooky.
Scary frog.
So yes, we may have been being spied upon. Fascinating, isn't it?
Is that your definition of fascinating?
Sure, it's a mystery. Why would they be watching some random band of people, and you said there was only one, and they immediately ran. Why were they watching us? Where did they go? What could they
They
have
ran
possibly
probably
been
because I
trying to
got
do?
close. I was also holding fire in its direction.
Oh, that's no. That's terribly rude. You don't just wave fire in somebody's face.
I don't know if you've noticed. That's sort of my thing.
I suppose it is.
I'd like to get down quickly. I don't. Ugh. And they just kind of shudder.
Oh, there are many things. Oh, there are many things you're going to see out here like that. Don't. I think you'll find the outside world quite fascinating.
I didn't expect them to get that big.
Lorge.
Horge.
Excellent. Then yeah. You all break camp, get yourself packed in again, and continue on the last leg of travel to Fear, at which you arrive uneventfully. I'm going to switch us to that board, and then I would like to take a quick break.
Okay.
Let's see.
Perfectly fine.
Think.
Oh.
Canopies.
Oh, fuck yeah. Oh, excuse me.
All right. And we'll be right back. Let's say 10 minutes, if that's all right.
Sounds
Yeah, sure.
good.
All right.
Sounds good.
ERB.
See you in a bit.
Call out.
Oh.
Give me a minute to consume my snack. Are we all back?
I'm here. Mostly.
Seems like it. Mostly. You okay? You sleepy?
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
it's fine. I closed my eyes for a moment, and then Cole was talking, and then all of a sudden your voice sounded different, and I was like, oh, that's not good. That means I'm like falling asleep. So I better open my eyes and stand up and shit.
Need some sugar.
I need to change the time of day. That is exactly what I did. I have a cookie butter and Nutella sandwich.
Ooh, honestly, wait. I want to get a Starburst.
All right. Rolled hot on the road.
Yeah, we did pretty good.
Only one failure. Pretty solid. Wait for Bub to fish out a Starburst. The red ones are the ones you don't eat? Yeah. The bowl is mostly red ones by volume now.
I'll take them. I mean, I prefer pink, but
Ew,
that's
gross.
fine.
Love you too. Trying to bribe me with smooches. You won't get anything.
I don't need to bribe you. You just love me.
No information allowed. Alright. So, you have arrived in the Village of Fear. You see it a little ways down the road. before you get there at first, and the first thing that strikes you all is the huge bent-over tree directly above the town. It's this enormous trunk that appears to be like bent at almost a perfect hemicircle, and underneath it is this little canopy where there are a number of little tents and other like smaller structures set up in the center of Fear, the town. There are these long, very, very thick ropes attached from where that tree trunk has bent all the way over to kind of the perimeter of this little clearing in the middle of town. And as it continues to rain, and as you hear wind start to kind of blow through the town, you hear this great creaking of wood as this tree strains against those ropes. Otherwise, it's a little quiet for a town. It is much smaller. To even call it a city is maybe difficult in comparison to having been to Althra recently. But there's a great variety of huts and houses, of various structures for people to live in. And even as it is getting close to night and it is raining very much, you do see a small variety of people out and about. As described previously, mostly goblins and lizard folk, but you see a couple of elves, a halfling, a small variety of individuals kind of milling about. Having arrived at night, you can see that the moon is already starting to rise onto the horizon, and you have just about 4 hours until midnight. Ruli pulls into town with the ladies, and kind of very very slowly pulls them to a halt until you are within the perceived limits of the town, and then both foxes just flop over immediately, exhausted. Having finally gotten another chance to break since your rest last night, they are both absolutely exhausted and immediately lie down in the mud underneath a couple of trees.
Sorry, Brianna. Sorry, Helga.
Babies. So we need to waste no time. So the people, just to confirm, the people that we are looking, who are we looking for? We are looking for.
We need someone who knows how to remove a curse.
You saw in Astior's divining pool a vision of 2 acolytes of a pair of gods, namely an acolyte of Nisaith and an acolyte of Naya. You knew that they were these because you saw the acolyte of Naya bearing the symbol of the knocked arrow and bow, traditional to that deity, and Nisaith bore a ring of horns around their neck. You didn't get a good look at what either of them actually looked like. They were mere silhouettes rather than full images, but you know that they were purportedly, according to Astior, somewhere near Fear.
Okay. We need to split up and start asking people where about the acolyte. That's what we need to do.
Mm-hmm.
Okay then. Is there? I think first thing Hason's going to do is walk up to the nearest person and say, hello there. New in town?
Oh, common. Hi.
Oh, hi. Is there a language you're more comfortable speaking?
No. This is fine. I've been meaning to practice.
Oh, of course. I do apologize. We're in a very distressing situation. But we
weather's terrible, aren't we all?
Oh. Wait, he said we're all just terrible, aren't we? What'd you say?
No. The weather's terrible, aren't we all?
Yeah, so that could... Yeah, that's one way of putting it, yes. We are looking for a disciple of Nyla. Nyla, that's what their name
Naya.
is? Naya.
Naya.
Naya. Of Naya, who supposedly lives or resides in an area near this town. You wouldn't happen to know them, would you? And it will just give a general description of their appearance.
Oh yeah. There's a couple of guys. They're out. They got like a big pit by the woods. I haven't been there much myself. They're nice enough. They come into town every once in a while. But that's that's a couple of lizard folks. That's Atco and Taxel. They're out there in the you can't miss it. It's like big hole in the ground, kind of ruins looking. It's spins around that way. Wait, that way.
Yeah, I was gonna say, you said it was by the woods, but we're kind of inside of the woods right now.
Not like the
how do
woods,
know?
you know?
What do you mean the woods?
The woods.
It is wood.
No. This is like kind of the woods. The woods is over there.
You sure it's that way?
Yeah, that way. And he points a different direction.
But the pit is in those woods.
Yeah, it's like on the edge of the deeper Natskog.
Okay.
Loka walks away. Fully.
I think I know what you're saying. So big hole, that direction.
Mm-hmm. That direction points a third direction.
Oh.
Can I just say hello, TikTok?
Okay, I'm getting mixed signals. You keep pointing to different directions, saying it's in a different direction.
No, it's that way! And points to the same direction as the first way he pointed.
Okay.
I think Peshmina's just talking to a complete, like, she wasn't even in this conversation. She's talking to a completely different person.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's like some folks around. You find a lizard folk with like a big hood pulled up to kind of keep them out of the rain.
Hello?
Common, yes. Hello.
Hi. I'm looking for, a healer or, an acolyte of Naya?
Oh, yes. Magic stick man, yes. You can tell he looks kind of frustrated for a minute. He's just like, not just not have vocabulary for.
You're doing great.
Thank you.
For this.
Yes.
If you want to.
Both live in ruins to west of Fear.
West. Okay, that's great. Thank you. Ruins west of Fear. What? Can I ask your name?
Oh, Hoblor.
Hoblor. Hoblor, thank you. That's very helpful.
You're welcome. Welcome to Fear. You are very pretty.
Peshmina blushes. Thank you.
All right. Go. And he walks away.
Heisan walks up and says, "Well, let's see. I have located several nearby. What's the word I'm looking for? I have learned of several nearby landmarks, all of which are supposedly in all eight directions at once.
Was one of those directions west?
No.
Yes. One.
Somehow, no.
Somehow no.
None of them were west.
You'd love to see it.
I have learned that. So all I can say is that
The gentleman over there what was his name? I was
Did you
Grablo.
even get it?
Scramblo. That Scramblo over there is very
Scramble.
does not know where anything is, and that his directions should not be trusted.
I kind of got that almost immediately, and I don't know why you kept on asking him questions like he was a reliable nation. But, more power to you to waste the finite amount of time we have on this earth talking to an imbecile.
Well, I just talked to a very nice man who said that there's someone to the west in some ruins. So
Her little admirer said that.
stop. He was just being sweet.
Oh, wonderful, more. In that case, we will. Should we ask more? No.
I'm going to, just to be absolutely safe.
Yeah, absolutely.
Try
I'm
and get,
going
like, a
to be
third
smarter
opinion.
and cast comprehend languages on myself.
It's very reasonable.
Wait, what languages are they speaking, by the way?
So they are speaking Goblin and what's the? It's a rare one. Trying to remember.
Since they're lizard folk, they're not speaking like Draconic. They're speaking.
No, it is a different language.
Would it by chance be Aquan?
It would not, but I think it's an elemental language.
Speak primordial.
Yeah, it might. If it is not a primordial language, it is derived from primordial.
Well, I'm still gonna just cast comprehend languages on me,
Absolutely,
just slap
yeah.
that on.
Is there
so
a
I can at least
particular
talk
like
to them.
kind of person you're like? Are you trying to look for like a town authority or attend a business, or are you just kind of stopping people on the street like we've done so far?
Probably someone that. Honestly, someone that looks a bit older, not like a village elder, but
Sure.
something
Someone who's
akin
probably
to
been
it.
here a longer time.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah. You don't have a too hard of a time. I think actually you end up gravitating toward another lizard folk, definitely older. Kind of has a parasol that they're using that is constructed out of leaves that they are using to keep themselves dry. They go, visitors.
Greetings.
Hello, welcome to Fear.
Thank you very much. I've a question for you.
Yes.
I'm trying to locate a person of religious sort. Possibly a acolyte of Naya. I know there's one that was here.
Yes, Atko and Taxel. They live in the ruins to the west.
To the west.
Yes, actually, if you do you intend to go? It's a bit difficult to get there at night. Do you need what? I could send a message. Is there anything you need from them?
Unfortunately, it is a bit time sensitive.
I see. Well, yes, it is to the west. It's a little deeper into the wood, and be careful your step because the brush does a good job of concealing the edge of the ruins, and it goes down. So watch your step.
Wonderful. Thank you very much for your time. I
Absolutely.
appreciate
Also,
it.
your accent is a bit odd, but the knowledge is incredible. Very few people are you know.
Forgive me. Full disclosure, I'm truly using magic.
Well.
I speak a little bit of primordial, but I do not know the language you speak.
I appreciate the effort, at least. Feel free to come by anytime, I suppose. I work in the tavern down the road, the ever-flowing river, if you're interested in visiting.
I'm sure we will be seeing each other very soon.
All right.
Have a great evening.
Excellent.
With a little bow. And jogs back to the group, points west. We're going.
Oh, good.
Come. Let's go. And like claps and like starts like pushing everyone along.
Are we all together?
Yes.
Regathering. Excellent. Could someone, 2 people or 1 person with help, give me a survival check to navigate through the woods in the dark?
I have dark vision, and I would like to roll survival.
Assisting.
Sounds good.
I'm not gonna use... Here. Don't... Okay, well, I rolled an 11.
11 is not great. You head out. You're sure you're in the right direction. The moon is easy enough to guide yourself by, though it's actually not the easiest considering that it is getting close to its peak. But you make your way some distance into the wood, and then find that you have a hard time finding where to go next. It's very dark is the operative word here, especially in the rain.
Even with dark vision.
Even with dark vision. It makes it easy enough for you, at least. But the navigation itself, because dark vision is 60 feet?
Yeah.
So, hard to get, like, kind of the longer-term view of where you're going, necessarily. Loka.
Yes.
Would you go ahead and give me a wisdom save?
Sure. I'll even give some context to it. I think Pashmina is up ahead. And I think you just hear Loka go,
Pashmina, not all of us can see in the dark.
gets smacked by a branch. God damn it! 17.
17. You feel something pulling at you. From the inside, from the outside, from above. Hard to tell. But after having seen the moon in Mirage, the feeling is familiar. You manage to hold on for now. But you get the feeling you need to get somewhere quick. Would you like to attempt that survival check again?
I would.
Go for it.
Can I still assist? Like,
You
I'm
absolutely
holding
can.
up a torch to, like, try and...
Yeah,
help.
absolutely.
You will also be doing so with a rerollable D8 from Bardic Inspiration.
Oh. Okay. Okay, so that was an unnatural 20.
Unnatural 20? Yeah, absolutely. Maybe in spite of Loka's words, or not, you manage to focus up effectively and keep leading the group forward. And you do manage, Zoran reminds you at just the right moment to watch your step as you step forward and find almost no footing as you come to the edge of a great pit in the ground, which reveals ruins. It looks like what used to be a temple of some kind. Maybe this was a basement or an underground enclosure, but it's now open to the air and appears to be standing unoccupied for the time being. I have a new board for us to go to.
New board, new board.
Lots of new boards today.
Sports.
Ooh, wild. It's like we're out of the desert. Wild.
We can finally experience some
Some places-
variety. Not that the facial wasn't varietous, but even more.
More varietous variety.
A different variety of variety.
Yeah. Wow, this is fucking massive.
It's huge. Roughly
Oh,
where
whoa.
would we be? Jesus Christ.
Uh,
Just keep going!
Simply at an edge.
Cool.
Okay.
So near the kind of upper back rim of these ruins.
it would be the eastern edge because
we can't.
Yeah, for sure. So, like,
Right?
yeah, absolutely. So, like, around here.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, that's cool.
Good logic. Good.
And since
Thank
I'm guessing the hole that Pashmina was about to fall into was
Yeah,
this.
one of those first steps, yes.
Ooh.
Can I say that I would have stopped her because of my alert feat?
Absolutely, you can.
Okay.
You can even say
Just
that you
like
catch her
mom
if you'd
arms
like to.
out.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Just catches her.
Thanks.
Don't mention it. What is it that we can see from where we are?
So
or is
from-
it just so dark that we can't see anything?
From where you are, you can see the ruins fold inward. You see these sets of tiered steps
Like an amphitheater.
leading towards the center. Very much so. In fact, you get the sense that may have been what this was at some point. Clearly not just... They call it ruins. They've called it a temple, but clearly some sort of meeting place. Kind of hard to say. But you do see very distantly in the center these pillars, which each glow very slightly. They seem to have some runes etched around their outside. And you see a lone figure kind of pacing back and forth in the bottom of the arena, accompanied by a couple animalistic silhouettes. You recall in the vision seeing the Acolyte of Naya accompanied by a dire wolf, and the Acolyte of Nisaith accompanied by a skeletal dire wolf.
Whoa. Should we maybe let them... Should we call out? Or...
I got this.
Immediately covers Loca's mouth before they start.
Wow.
A little tact, please.
It's dark out. We can't stall them just by showing if we just say like hello there, we mean you no harm. We just want to talk. Can we come down, please? There's 4 of us. You think that would not work?
It would be nice to not just kind of surprise them.
Yeah, like suddenly we're on their level, armed to the teeth, and I go, "Hi, I'm accidentally a werewolf."
And I'm about to change right now.
What was their name? What were their names?
You know that
shit.
there are a pair of people who purportedly live here named Atko and Taxel.
Fine.
I can put those in text.
Thank you. I really
And
do.
just uncovers Loca's mouth.
Okay.
Yep,
Oh
fine.
god.
Excuse me. Fuck.
Careful,
This
Matt.
is in character.
Hello, Atko and Taxel. We mean you no harm. There's 4 of us. We'd like to come and talk if that's okay. I know it's dark and stuff, but it's kind of important.
You see the figure in the center of this ruin kind of like stop and kind of like look around as your voice kind of echoes off the walls a little bit. But they tap their staff to the ground and raise a hand with amplified voice and say, yes, for certain. Please, just watch your step on the way down.
Okay, if you hear screaming, it's because we accidentally fell.
Okay, please do. They're wet. It's gonna be slippery.
Joke's on
Everybody
you, I
hold
can
hands.
fly.
Yeah.
I take 1 step and immediately slip. Just trip a little bit. Just a little trip.
Scary. But yeah, you have
Would you
no
like
trouble
me to
making
dry
it.
the stairs as you walk down?
Are you making fun of me?
No, it's an offer. Why would I be making fun of you?
Grudgingly accepts.
I think Pashmina just wants to hold hands because she's scared.
All right, everyone, find your line, buddy.
Meanwhile,
It's
Logan's
on
just like,
just
plat, 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 plat.
Hassan's just like flying just a few feet above you, just drying the steps as you walk down.
It is a little bit of a tedious climb, but after not too long, you're able to make it down to the center of the ruin just fine. And you meet with a very brightly colored lizard folk with a staff. This individual appears to bear the bow and arrow on their garb, as you'd seen in the visions. Though currently, they appear to be with both the direwolf, who is circling them slowly, and the skeletal direwolf, who is circling them on the opposite side, but no other figure currently.
Can I do a brief Arcana check? A brief detect magic?
Yeah, absolutely.
I will do cast detect magic then. So, I guess what are the pillars? I guess trying to look at the pillars for now.
Yeah, so they are engraved, it appears, with various runes. It looks like a very old language. Hard to say necessarily what it is, but they appear to be glowing and illuminating the area. Let me see. Remember what language they speak. Need to know the name of the language to be able to ask you if you know the name of the language. That's not it.
Not Sylvan,
My
is it?
apologies. It is not. It's because it's not the lizard folk language, and it's not goblin. I'm having a hard time remembering what. I named everything.
Oh, is it a custom language or something?
Not exactly.
Abyssal, Celestial, Draconic, Deep Speech, Primordial. Not Undercommon.
Sylvan?
Already. Nah, it wasn't Sylvan. We already.
Deep speech?
Give me 1 second.
If we just start naming all of the languages,
I mean, I'm looking at lists of all the D&D languages. If it's
is it French or German or Russian?
Do you know Abyssal?
oh, I said Abyssal.
I didn't know which one it was. I was
Oh,
needed to
okay.
look up the thing.
Shit. I know Infernal, which is like Abyssal, but it isn't.
I have a question.
Yes.
Has it been an hour since I cast Comprehend Languages?
Let's say no.
Then I am able to understand.
So they are. It's magical engravings. It's not so much text in the same way as much as it is. Well, it is inscribed upon each of the pillars is effectively what appears to be a virtue of some kind. Those being self-reliance, cunning, as well as others in the same vein. So, like, just strength endurance, self-sacrifice, and those are in bands repeating like these individual single words all around the bases of each of these pillars.
Do you tell this to Hasan?
I think before they say anything, they just kind of say, are these, like, cardinal tenets?
So, potentially. We've studied the ruins somewhat, and they come from a time before us. We believe that there was another civilization settled here at some time before ours could be, though oddly, we've found no bodies or burial sites, no peoples to reference, but we have deciphered the language somewhat. We think this may have been some kind of forum for them, potentially. But as it stands, it has made a very effective tenet to our own philosophies, mine of nature and of progress, and my husband's of death, of the end of things, and so decided to live here. Anyway, sorry, you've come a long way, and it is the middle of the night. What are you here for? What can I? Is aught amiss?
There's a lot of miss.
Ah.
No, I forgot what I was gonna say.
This one has lycanthropy.
Thanks for just stealing my thunder.
Well, you weren't saying it very quickly, and time is of the essence, wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, I guess it is the full moon tonight, huh?
It sure is. Gods above and below. Okay.
Sorry, we didn't mean to, like, bring this upon you. Just, things kind of happened very quickly.
No, it's a lot. Okay, sorry. We'll get to that.
We're willing to pay as much as we can for any assistance. We were at least...
We'll figure that out later. For the time being, you have, like, are you a lycanthrope? You have lycanthropy? How?
So, you...
How well lit is it?
Medium well lit. It is dimly lit, I would say.
Okay.
So this necklace, which cost me a lot of money, is cursed. It's called Naya's Bite. And so we figured maybe somebody who knew something about Naya could probably help me. I didn't know it was cursed when I bought it, but I can't take it off. And I feel angry, sort of. Trying not to, but you know.
I imagine so. There are occasions on which Naya's gifts can go awry, and that is troubling, and you cannot take it off?
No, I mean, you want to try?
I certainly can. And he reaches out and, like, wraps a scaled hand around the necklace and tries to give it a little bit of a lift, and it doesn't budge. And he goes, okay, that's fine. I can effectively make a request. This should be handleable. That is concerning, though I will have to make a case to her why you don't want her gifts.
Oh, shit!
Oh.
Can you ask her if we can at least like a controllable gift thing instead of like a I'm gonna werewolf out and fucking rip everything to shreds. Like, if I could control it a little bit, then I'd be happy to have her gifts. But she's also like a nature goddess, kind of a sea creature, so like, I don't know what's happening here, and I'm fucked, aren't I?
No, I think we can help you out. The whims of the beings above and below us are fickle at best. I can and will do everything in my power to advocate on your behalf. I understand that this gestures towards the necklace is not for you. It is not something you chose or wanted. Perhaps whoever made it in the first place was more adapted to be one of her hunters in the way that makes you a hunter. But you do not have to bear a burden that was thrust upon you. Okay. Would you mind coming with me then? I think I have a prayer to make.
Sure. Before I go anywhere though, I don't know if you're Atco or Tex, so we didn't really get your name.
Atco, and he bows.
Okay, I don't bow, but hi.
And ooh?
Yeah, it's kind of like, you know how Aquan's kind of a tonal language, so you just, it's ooh. You know, it's an up and then it's a down.
Right. So, ooh.
No, you just don't worry about it. Okay.
I apologize.
You can just call me Loka.
Certainly. As you two are talking, the direwolf and the skeletal direwolf regard you curiously, Loka. The skeletal direwolf in particularly, hard to read. No eyes, no lips. It's all body language. Seems to be held together by some kind of enchantment, but ambulates almost identically to the other direwolf. But as the two of you talk, the two direwolves seem to circle around the lot of you, keeping their eyes on Loka specifically.
Can I try to think? Heisan has studied religion before and the religion of the surrounding areas. Can he try to relate these two animals to any sort of symbology, since there's obviously a sort of dichotomy between the two, I like to think?
Yeah, you made this roll before somewhat.
Right, I did.
Yeah, just thinking about the relationship between Naya and Nisaith specifically, and the relationship seems very similar. The idea being that the hunt cannot exist without death, and death rarely exists without strife. The two very much go hand in hand. Though, when you'd seen these two before, the wolves were associated with a pair of individuals, not a single. Okay, please come with me. And Atco kind of gestures to you, Loka, and gestures deeper within the temple. And Atco kind of turns back to the other three of you and is just like, if you wouldn't mind waiting just a few moments. I'm not certain how long this will take.
Oh, are you sure?
Yes, I think this will be
Mm.
fine.
She looks to Loka.
What?
Do you want to go alone?
I mean, the man says go with him alone, so I'm gonna go with him alone. I don't know.
Okay. Okay.
Hisan will message Loka telepathically. Gods are fickle things. I know you are comfortable about speaking about things, but I have a feeling if you tell, the more personal you make it, the more interested they might be. Try, so whatever things you may not like talking about, I suggest you talk about them and give them a reason to care.
Well, if I don't give them a reason to care, I'll give them a reason to be scared, and I think that'll work just as well. So,
Personal vendetta against a god.
Don't tempt me.
Hisan just gives you like an incredibly worried look, like, no, please don't.
All right. You two head inside. Deeper in the temple, you can see now that these ruins extend inward underground beneath the forum that surrounds this kind of greater divot in the ruins. And the interior is much more heavily decorated. It's clear that Atko and his partner have been making this a significantly more livable space and have been kind of redecorating it with the ephemera of their deities. Atko leads you through a hall, past a couple of chambers, and into what appears to be a larger shrine to Naya. There is a golden bow and a single arrow laid on top of a stone kind of rectangular altar, and a carpet of various treated furs underneath your feet, and Atko kneels in front of the altar and gestures for you to do likewise, and lays his staff on the ground. He kind of bends his head down and closes his eyes and waits for a moment. You wait, and it is quiet except for the noises of the deep woods. And you hear a voice come from Atko that is not necessarily the one you heard before. Here. Wish to forsake the hunt.
nobody said forsake.
But this thing of mine, this thing, you do not want it.
I didn't really know what I was getting. I thought it was just, you know, like, I thought it was just gonna make me stronger. I didn't think it was gonna make me lose my ability to think.
You do not enjoy this strength?
Not if I'm gonna hurt the people around me. There's a difference between hunting and mindless slaughter. I've done both. They're both good, but I don't want to do it anymore, really.
A change of paths, then.
Sure, yeah. I think that's a nice way of putting it.
I see. Then, though fortune brought this to you, I will remove it. But should you ever want to return to it, it will remain with this, mine servant.
Wait, hang on. So you're gonna transfer the curse onto Atko?
Not the curse, just the gift. And Atko shifts and turns to look at you, and his eyes are black. And he reaches out carefully and hooks a finger underneath the necklace and just cleanly pulls it off of you. And then he takes a step forward and rests it on the altar among the bow and the arrow. Here, the gifts will... Perhaps, in time, someone else may desire strength of the greatest hunter.
Dragon? I'll take
Echo's
that one.
eyes come back to the natural state, and he kind of like shakes his head a little bit and then sees that the necklace is on the altar and you're just kind of also there. And he kind of blinks a few times and just goes, did that go well?
I don't know, really. I think so. They took the necklace off. Well, you took the
See
necklace
that?
off.
Yes. I suppose I did. That... okay. Okay,
Is
well...
that how that normally goes?
No. No, it is
Oh.
not.
How does it normally go?
Come to think of it, there isn't really a normal. It's been a wide variety.
Okay.
Excuse me. Have you ever grown fangs before? That was a weird one.
Did you just...
No, not this time. That was another thing. Venom. There's a whole deal.
I don't think so.
Well then. Here, let's return you to your friends. Do you feel different? I should hope that with the item removed, you would no longer be afflicted?
Yeah, the strange thing is I didn't really feel different when I put it on, so I don't feel much different. I don't feel angry right now, but I'm just confused. I guess I was expecting a bit of a hubbub, like a flash of lights, some explosions, or... I don't know.
I don't either.
Is Loka okay?
Yeah, you are no longer attuned to Naya's bite, and you are no longer afflicted with lycanthropy. You will, however, you get one... You can bump one ability point by one with the blessing of Naya.
Oh.
Constitution, you immediately gain a bunch of health.
I'll think about it.
Parting gift.
All right. So I guess as we leave and like rejoin the others, Loka is going to turn to Atko for a second and just be like,
Hang on, watch this. I want to see what they do.
Or are you coming into view?
yeah, and then
Okay.
I'm gonna start running towards them and go,
Oh my god, run for your life! I'm gonna turn
no.
into a dragon!
I think Pashmina meets you halfway and is just like on her knees with her arms immediately wrapped around, like, are you okay? Did it work? Did it work?
Did you not hear me, Pashmina? I said I was gonna turn into a dragon and you run towards me!
Well, did it work?
No!
What do you mean a dragon? What are you talking? It looks to Echo. Is he okay?
As far as I can tell, he's
Backs up
fine.
a couple steps.
Insight. Insight. Yes.
Are you inciting Atko?
No, Loka.
Oh, okay.
what part of what I said are you inciting?
Just like the general thing, like just Zeron's wanting to know if you're just bullshitting right now.
If you're being really discerning, you can tell that Loka is trying to look like surprised and scared, but is clearly just playing around. Yeah, I guess that's the best way to put it. Like he's being playful right now, which is not. It's very different than how you've seen him up until this point today.
Mm-hmm. Loki, you just receive a little thunk on top of the head at the end with the end of Zeron's staff.
Ow!
Don't smack him. What the heck?
What if I was still cursed? Maybe I'd turn into one right now and just eat your staff.
Then do so.
Fucking.
Loka
That's your rights.
Loka jumps up and bites your staff.
No change. They're
And
just staring
hangs
down at
onto
you.
it.
Just like holding it up, you're like dangling off of it.
Yeah, absolutely.
You bite the staff, and the flesh and blood direwolf like looks at it like stick. Stick.
No. Just trying to shake Loka off now.
Just eyes go fully wide.
Okay, well, I guess everything's normal. Jeez.
Misan just leans against a pillar and just kind of slides down, like, fuck everything.
Thanks, Atko. I
Of course.
think. How much would you like for the trouble?
Oh, don't worry about it. If you manage to come across, make an offering on your travels. Find something that you desire and hunt it, but you need to make no donations here.
Oh, if you're sure.
Yes.
It's very generous.
Where's Taxel?
I don't know.
Oh.
He went into the woods, the Natskog, to explore a new ruin that we had found, and he hasn't returned.
Oh, is that unusual for them?
It is. He ordinarily, I mean, he hasn't been gone that long. He's been gone maybe a day and a half. But, I have some concerns. It's weird things have been happening in the Natskog lately.
Oh, weird things are happening everywhere.
That makes sense. Where do you all hail from?
The ocean.
I could have guessed that. I guess I could have guessed that.
We just arrived from the Phasia, but we're from, well, at least I'm from far away.
So Heisan,
And points to Heisan.
Heisan's from the mountains. Zaran is from Althra, and Pashmina is from, I forget, the west? Like further west.
Fendil specifically.
Yeah, wherever that is.
A traveled
And,
bunch, then.
And I got Peppy. Oh God, oh Jesus Christ. I got a,
Where are you from, puppy?
Puppy's trying to stay on the opposite side of Loka, is trying to keep Loka between them and the dire wolves at all times.
Yeah, I was just thinking that. So I think what happens is Loka picks Puppy up and is just holding them.
Can I try to identify the language? I guess.
Like as Abyssal?
Yes.
Sure. That's probably history.
Thank you. 17.
Yeah, you can, with a little bit of effort, you can kind of narrow down that this is probably Abyssal.
I know enough Infernal to know, I guess, to know what Abyssal is like. Because the two are sister languages, right?
They come from similarly different places, but like linguistically, there are very few similarities.
Okay.
well, I know you said that, you don't want payment, but, I mean, we could really use Taxel's help too, because we, oh God, this is gonna sound weird, but we kind of scryed on you just to figure out, like, where you were, because I needed help, and we have a friend, patron, both, I guess, that could use Taxel's help, because Taxel knows, like, necromancy stuff, and, they're dying from, like, necromancy curses, or whatever.
Oh.
And so, if you, I mean,
Loka like turns to everybody like,
I think we'd be okay with, like, going and trying to find them, right? Like, we can do that.
Well, if they don't return, we will.
Certainly. That's very kind of you. Yeah, he'd intended to investigate a ruin, deeper in the Nat's Cog. There was a gnome that arrived in Fear some time ago, with a small entourage. The entourage left. He stayed behind. Then went into the woods, mentioning something about treasures, acquisitions, something. It was a little odd. We've had with the ruins, we've had our fair share of treasure hunters every once in a while. But after he disappeared into the wood, things started. The roads aren't as safe. There appeared to be some movings in the Nat's Cog that were not as such before. Taxel thought it was the Slod, that they were becoming restless, and were considering they have attacked Fear a couple of times, and he thought that they may be attempting something similar again, so didn't know if they were performing some kind of ritual in the ruin, or they were using it, or they found something there. So he went to go investigate, but like I said, hasn't been back yet.
You said it was called the Slod?
Yeah, they're these kinds of large frog creatures. They're not.
We've encountered them, or at least I have encountered them.
Already?
I thought you
Supposedly.
hadn't left the desert.
You were asleep.
Oh, right. We never did tell you, were we? There was something spying on us the previous night.
Oh, what?
That would have been a good thing to know.
What was happening? What?
Emotions were high. I didn't want to add to them. Please continue.
But they are somewhat organized. They have a sort of telepathic bond between them, so they can sometimes accomplish things that would be otherwise unassumed from an outside perspective. They're not entirely sapient, though they're not provably not sapient. They simply don't communicate in the same ways. But they do tend to consistently be rather hostile to us, at least.
So Taxel went to investigate this?
Yes.
Do you know exactly where, or just...
We stumbled upon the ruin together. I know a vague sense. Actually, this one may be able to guide you. And he gestures to the skeletal wolf, who kind of like trots up next to Atko and sits down and kind of like looks at all of you. This is Hala. H-A-L-A. This is, well, was and is again Taxel's wolf.
A Hala?
Hala.
Hala.
Hala. Gadala.
Hello.
That just threw me off.
Just Hala.
Why did that throw me off?
It was really funny.
God damn it.
Do you know where your master is?
It kind of like cocks its head to the side and then kind of like gets up on all fours and like kind of shakes from side to side. Like, maybe.
Is there no reason you haven't gone looking for them already?
I promised I'd maintain the temple. They said not to come after them effectively, because we'd not leave the temple completely abandoned, and while we have a good relationship with Fear, if both of us disappear, I don't think anyone else will come looking for us.
And if what you said is true, then it's probably more dangerous to do so right now anyways, so... better you had waited for... something to happen anyways.
I was considering going into town soon to maybe get some of the folk to help form a search party, but if you all are more than willing, I'd be more than amenable.
It's the least we could do.
And I can offer you the support of the temple as much as we have. We have beds, food, if you need somewhere to stay.
I guess we probably don't want to go back out into the forest. It's probably starting to get late.
It is just now past midnight now, I believe.
Ah.
Which has thankfully passed uneventfully.
Yeah, for real.
If you're offering, and then perhaps early in the morning we go out and begin our search.
Set off? I think that would be reasonable. Please, if you wouldn't mind. And he'll lead you back into the temple. There are what looks to be maybe previously a dormitory that has been spruced up a bit. Again, almost all of the drapery, the blankets, pillows, anything kind of, the amenities are almost all furs. Or other similar things. You can kind of tell the breaks of where Atco has decorated and where Taxel has decorated, where it goes from being like furs and plants and animal imagery to like skulls and bones and various like epitaphs and kind of grim reminders of mortality. But they tend to go hand in hand fairly well. It's a little bit of a disjointed look, but it does all right. And the buildings are largely comfortable, sheltered from the exterior element of the forest. You find it totally fine. You effectively find a room of bunks to be able to settle into. And Atco effectively just says, all right, let me know if you need anything. I'll be just down the hall. All right.
Thanks for your hospitality.
Of course. All right. And you'll exit. Just kind of walking through this place, it also feels pretty clearly that they have much more space than they know what to do with. The size of this ruin is enormous, but they do appear to be settled in the most well put together bit. They're not exactly in a crumbling structure. They're in parts of it that have still stood strong for some time now.
So, just to confirm, like these rooms are within the ruin itself, as sort of cave,
Yeah.
in sort of caves. This is
there is effectively a complex of interiors beneath all of the seats and steps and stairs that you have seen from above. And within that are rooms, particularly places for people to sleep, so individual little bits. I do not have a board to represent this.
that is fine. Well, today, I can say, has been incredibly distressing and incredibly tiring. I am going to go take a walk. I'll talk to all of you later.
Oh, okay. I guess don't go too far, and if you need help, kind of taps at her ear.
I'll call. And Hasan actually does want to talk more to Taxel. I mean,
Atco.
But as I go, can I know I make this check a lot. Can I try and tie this architecture to anything I know?
Sure. Yeah, go ahead and roll me history. This is going to be, I'm going to say 27.
Oh.
Ooh.
Good thing I rolled a 29.
Oh.
Wow.
You are unreal. You are not.
There is exactly one other location you have seen architecture like this. It's when you were in a cart, carried by a dragon, suspended over a pit in the middle of the fascia.
Oh my god.
Fucking hell. I know where
Oh my god.
You are insane. You are insane.
Oh my god.
What are these rolls? Look at this roll.
And that is the only place you can remember seeing this architecture.
I keep forgetting that you have a +10. Like,
Expertise?
Jesus.
Yeah. Hassan is going to note it and briefly walk outside and check the runes again and try and suss out, because they are magical. With detect magic, could I decipher what kind it was?
Yep.
What
They
kind
glow.
of- Oh, it's just glowing sigils.
Yep.
Just low.
It is the illumination. It is largely aesthetic.
Okay, good. And I guess he's just trying to figure out what this possibly could have been used. This place was probably a meeting place. He's trying to wonder what they did here, but he will forget about it for a moment and go talk to Taxel. Atla, Avatar the Last Airbender. Atco.
Yeah. Atko's just kind of hanging out. He's in what appears to be a living chambers. He appears to be paging through kind of in some kind of old scroll.
I apologize for bothering you so soon.
Oh,
May
no. Anything I can do to help?
Yes, actually. So, well, first of all, you said the Slod were restless before, correct? Something along those lines?
Acting strangely. I didn't have any particular specifics. It was largely a suspicion from my husband.
Well, that is troubling. As you haven't perhaps noticed anything else been acting strangely as lately? Perhaps other wildlife, plant life, decaying slightly, acting erratically?
There has been, and I don't, it is more of a hunch than anything else. I don't know for sure. But predatory activity in the Natscog has been higher than usual. There is a delicate balance to the cycle of life in any environment. And while it has not been upset to any kind of significant degree, I've seen things more aggressive than usual.
Alright then.
Snakes killing after having already eaten their fill. Insects gorging themselves to the extent that they burst. It's troubling.
I can only imagine. Well, I can say that I do believe your husband may have been onto something then, for there are similar happenings, or was a similar happening in the Phasia not too long ago. As a matter of fact, perhaps only a day now, perhaps two. Purple, you wouldn't have happened to seen any representatives of the Haraxan Coalition, mercenaries bearing the symbols of black talons, would you? Nobody been through the area such as those?
I'm not familiar with the Haraxan, you said?
Oh, well, I suppose you wouldn't then.
But the group I mentioned coming into town, they did bear the mark of the Talon.
Oh, wonderful. One wouldn't have happened to be a rather large fellow with a bow, would they?
He was among them.
How long ago was this?
Half a week?
And they left? No trouble?
They left. They left, the gnomish fellow I mentioned behind who disappeared into the wood.
All right, then. Well, it would be no surprise if it followed them. An individual bearing that sigil carried with them an necrotic substance, something similar to the ichor of a ghoul, an undead creature. Its effects on the wildlife when as it seeped into the ground
His eyes
were
are starting to glaze over a little bit.
really. Okay, I understand I bore people, but this is okay. Point is, it's a necrotic affliction that is making things that makes things more aggressive and has the potential to do irreparable harm to people and cause their bodies to think that to literally shut down, think they're dying, and just cease function.
That is alarming. Are
Yes,
there any distinguishable signs of it?
only from what I know, only that of which you already described. In heightened aggression and fervor.
Also, the blackening of extremities.
And the blackening of extremities, wilting, rotting, the like.
I'll keep an eye out. I may have seen some leaves bearing a similar affliction. I might investigate myself. Not far from here.
I would suggest you do. I suppose, of course, your partner would be more familiar with the aspects of death.
It is, not my area of expertise.
I suppose we'll learn more when we find him. I apologize if sorry if I've caused any sort of distress or boredom. Just
General discomfort.
But I figured I might ask. And what's that you're reading?
Just one of, our texts. Something written by another priest of Naya, my mentor.
Where did you study? Or what?
Here, not here, but the region, and lived in the Netskog for a long time.
Oh. I'm so awfully big. And why aren't they here with you? Out of curiosity. Awfully big for only 2 people.
Well, settling in the ruins has been useful for us. We used to live a bit more of a nomadic, you might say, life. Lots of setting up and tearing down camp, allowing the Natskog itself to provide for us rather than settling it into anything permanent. We found it a useful sort of pilgrimage, almost, though there's no end point, really. Just to be among our God's works. And to partake ourselves.
Ah, yes. Well, I suppose we all get something different from the world around us. I'm far more interested in what these ruins. I'm far more interested in, well, in any sort of historical significance to these ruins rather than religious, I suppose.
Oh, the ruins themselves aren't necessarily. It is a convenient location. And as with many other creatures, as I'm sure you would find out if you explore around this forum, any shelter will become inhabited given enough time. Nothing stays empty for long.
That being, I suppose it would, when it has the benefit of being surrounded by dense vegetation. There's something similar to this in the Phasia, actually. Deep, early, something I only saw at a glance, but within the midst of Hav's wrath, the desolate land blasted constantly by sandstorms. But who's to say? Perhaps I'll find something there too. And you haven't done an extensive study of this place, then, haven't you? If you've just been habitating.
We've searched around. It was not our intention to catalog the ruin.
Ah, that's a shame. Either way, I suppose there are others who can do it, such as myself. All right. Well, good night to you, and thank you for your time.
They nod toward you.
And he'll leave.
Direwolf nearby gives a big yawn and kind of lies down at Echo's feet.
No one here appreciates good scholarship.
All right. You all have a rest for the evening. Is there anything you'd like to do before taking a rest? All right. In that case, let's see if this works.
Whoop.
Oh.
Yeah. Atmosphere blocks.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
With the sun coming back over the horizon, the heat and humidity return in force to the outer edges of the Gnat's Cog. But you all wake up comfortably. The humidity seems not quite to penetrate the interiors of the ruin the same way it does the forum outside. And you've all got some time to gather your thoughts, maybe make a plan.
So Hasan, when he wakes up, is going to address the group. So there have been some developments since last night, actually, and that I believe we should all be aware of. It seems our mercenary acquaintances of the Black Talon have been through here in the past week.
Of course they have.
Yes.
Why?
Who knows? And then you said that the gnomish fellow stayed behind and went into the forest?
Yeah.
All left except...
You recall meeting a Schemo Weird Bottle.
Schemo. Let me look them up in my notes real quick. I never wrote their name down. Shit. God damn it.
Okay, yeah, they were one of the party. They were one of the party that we met.
Yeah. He wasn't... Was he the...
He was the one who kept talking about gambling.
Oh, right, that one. It says all of them passed through with little incident, but the gnome Schemo, the gambling one, stayed behind and went into the woods. So he is presumably still around.
Weird.
Weird. And suspicious given the fact that after asking a few questions of our lizard folk friend, they have attested that the wildlife has begun acting erratically and aggressively, and that supposedly some rot has begun to afflict some of the vegetation, or supposedly, which is awfully similar to. I'm sure you can connect the dots at this point.
That is a bit convenient, isn't it?
Very convenient. Which changes nothing, I suppose, but it just means that we still have to find Taxel.
Maybe with some haste.
I can only hope. Oh yes, also, doesn't particularly matter, but the architecture here very similar to that pit we saw. Just thought everybody would like to know.
The pit?
The pit. Yes, the pit in the desert.
Oh. Oh.
Yes, fascinating, isn't it?
You mean House Wrath?
Yes, exactly.
Weird.
Yes, weird and intriguing. It's a shame that I wish I would have had more to report about this place. Although our host and their husband seems to have not taken as much of an interest in cataloging this area as they would have said.
They have their own specific studies, it seems.
Yes, so it would seem.
Was the Phasia always a desert?
Not always. Well, presumably not. Well, God. God, that's a good fucking question. So, hey, Cole, we both know that the Havslack is the remnants of a lake. Do you want to? Do we think the inhabitants are aware of that?
I think Hassan certainly heard several theories.
Okay. There are theories that it was once a very, very much a lush place. Kenku religion, the followers of Ha and the Kenku religions attest that it was once very verdant until the wrath of God turned it into a desolate wasteland, which is of course merely.
Wrath. Okay, I get it, I think.
Yes, of course. Never studied the stories.
Just a quick reminder, I did spend most of my time just performing and dancing and rehearsing, and I'm not from the Phasia, so not really. No.
I suppose not. It was the Kenku believed that after after taking advantage of their god, or perhaps offending their god in one way or the other, the story differs from flock to flock. But it all ends in Hav laying waste to their homes, drying up the land, depriving it of all rain. And, well, the rest is history. A more naturalistic or scientific explanation, there are theories that there used to be a large body of water, or bodies of water, around, which would have inevitably meant plants and life. But nothing conclusive, unfortunately.
Okay.
By the way, just a tidbit.
Duran, how's the fur on the tail? in
Damn.
the humidity. Damn.
Damn.
I feel like this whole time also like Peshmina's just been wrestling with her hair. It's like it's so humid. I can't. It gets so frizzy. It's just finally in like a very like tight braid. Like I give up.
I think
I'm trying
Zron's
to make
very
this-
much in the same boat because they already keep their hair up. I think they just had to like resort to just like braiding it or putting it into like a really, really messy bun.
If we don't start moving, I'm gonna start going moss. Do we know where we need to go?
I think they're just picking mud out of their tail. And they're just angry about it.
The skeleton wolf was supposed to lead us there, right?
Supposedly, they seem to have a somewhat something of an idea. Either way, they're our best bet. Yes.
You don't see them currently. They're presumably in the ruin somewhere.
I suppose we should find them then. If everybody... Does anybody need to eat first? Breakfast, perhaps?
They're always this sticky.
Sticky.
Hair troubles?
Or just grumbles as they pick out another piece of like dried mud.
Welcome to the jungle.
I know I was excited for leaving the desert, but I'm not sure this is favorable.
After a few moments, you hear like skitter, 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 and you see Hala like bounding down the hallway towards the room. Tries to come to a stop, has no traction, skids across the stone, and scrabbles back, and sits in front of the door to the room you are all in, and just kind of like sits down and looks at all of you.
Oh. Good morning. Please don't fall apart.
Cocks its head to the side.
I don't know about you, but that was terrifying.
It's a little unnerving, yeah, not gonna lie.
Tail's like puffed out.
Hala smiles at you. Hala
Yeah,
is
I was
always
just like-
smiling at you.
A skeleton... Can a skeleton even smile? A skeleton can't smile?
Nope.
A skeleton
it's
is
always-
always smiling.
Always smiling, never not smiling. Has no lips, it's just all teeth.
It just like slowly approaches and just kind of like slowly holds a hand out.
It like sits up further and like pushes the top of its head against your hand.
Okay, good.
Smooth bow.
And just is, petting the top of their head.
God, it has to like... when it's wagging
It
its
just
tail,
makes
I'm
a
just
hollow
like,
noise.
clack, 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 and clack.
Marimba noise.
That's so mean.
As your hand pulls away, you see that there has actually been a little rune carved into the top of the skull. Specifically, a little circle with a bunch of little horns around it.
Ah. Good puppy. Good puppy.
I'm so
You see the bones in its tail shaking back and forth.
fascinated.
Their own
Also-
tail is like slightly wagging. They're kind of excited about this.
Puppy. Big scary puppy.
Oh, right. What was... Hala?
It perks up.
Hala?
Aw.
Will you lead the way?
It nods. And then it does like a wolfhound point.
Very intelligent.
Just
wolf.
like to the exit of the ruin, basically. Kind of trotting along.
Should we bother knocking off rations?
No, Atco has food for you here.
Okay.
I guess we'll hopefully be back with, Texel? To Echo.
Yes, if yeah, that would be ideal, certainly. The main of the Natscog is on the other side, so you'll pass through Fear on your way there. Feel free to, I mean, we've got general stores, pick up supplies, and whatever you might need. But, yes, feel free to let me know any way you can, and if you mention us in town, people might help you out, maybe not. I don't know how much goodwill we have toward the town at the moment.
People seemed eager to point us to you, so
It's a good sign. It's hard to tell sometimes with we're not exactly messengers of the gods of light and healing, you know, so a little bit less advantageous to some towns.
Well, you've been nothing but helpful so far, so
Appreciated.
hopefully see you soon.
Right.
Let's go.
Yep. Hala begins walking with you, kind of leading the way, helping you through the woods and back to Fear.
How does it see?
It's a good question. I have no answers. It's just a good question.
Perfect.
Yeah, and as you begin your journey, or as you arrive back in Fear, ready to prepare yourselves and begin your journey into the Natscog proper, I think that's where I want to call our session for tonight, if that's all right.
Yes. I am so fucking tired.
Sounded like it. I didn't want to push it too much, and that seemed like a good stopping. Here, I can boot us back to Fear, because I just like it.
These are both really cool boards, though.
Thank you. I stole them.
Oh.
So the Tales Tavern, they're both pretty heavily modified. But like, there's a thing called Tales Tavern, which is the sharing community for Talespire boards. And this was one of them. One of the arena was another that I have been I've been collecting and modifying a ton of Talespire boards lately. So not all to my credit, but I do also love them very much. So I'm glad you like them. All right. Stars and... Oh, actually, very quickly, Matt, just for fun, do you want to share Wereloka's stat block?
Yeah.
Hate that.
Yeah, we
already.
should.
I already hate
Here,
it.
I think I have a copy of it that I can throw in text for voice.
Image. I've got it. If
Okay.
you.
I'm half disappointed that we didn't
I
get this.
was gonna say I hate to say it. I'm actually there was no way in hell that I was going to intentionally roll badly to make certain things happen.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm sad we didn't get to encounter Wereloka.
There were... Yeah, I wanted to let the dice decide, and I decided to let the dice decide. And I think that was the best option. Y'all rolled very well on the skill challenge. Also, maybe before we get into stars and wishes, gut check on the skill challenge. How did we feel about that, generally speaking? I know it's the first time we've tried to do a skill challenge, and that's kind of like a rules thing I haven't used before.
Surprised it wasn't a little more difficult
Mhm.
considering the circumstances, but
Yeah.
also like, it was all right.
Yeah.
Heard it.
Reasonable.
I think we roll too well. We genuinely roll too. I want us to roll worse for a little bit. It's almost disappointing.
We certainly did perhaps roll a bit too well. I was almost hoping for a bit more, prefer a
like
bit
one
more of an
time.
encounter.
Hmm.
Like if we had an encounter rather than just challenges we create ourselves.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I think the specificity, if it had been more specific than, like, instead of generally kind of, like, if the challenge had been specifically, the cart is stuck, like, is deeply stuck in the mud, and that had been a specific challenge, could have been more interesting.
Yeah.
Making it kind of general
A little
is
bit more
too-
deterministic.
yeah, it's
Okay.
too vague, and then there's too many ways that, like, different things can apply, and
Feels like we covered so much distance with very little pushback.
Reasonable enough. Good to know. Thank you for the feedback.
it can be difficult, because...
Yeah, I mean it is. But yeah, I'm glad we rolled well. I'm also a little disappointed we didn't get to see Werloka. Who knows? I mean, look, the necklace is still there. Maybe we have need of Werloka at some point. All right, then let's do stars and wishes, right to left. Eli.
Cart roleplay in the first part was definitely my favorite. Was definitely my favorite part of this session, because cart roleplay was fun. I liked teaching a game to Loka, and just having the tense situation of not knowing whether we were going to get there on time. That was very fun. I liked that a lot. I am always happy for, and I of course am always happy for more lore. I am happy that the things we have encountered before are following us on the way here. Things are remaining relevant despite the fact that we are on another part of the continent. I very much like that, and I'm happy about that.
Awesome.
Wishes. Although perhaps they've already left, I do want to see the Black Talon mercenaries again and have a little showdown with them, if not like a sort of boss battle. Speaking of wishes, boss battles. I do kind of want one of those, which is part of why I was like, oh man, I want to fight Werloka, because it feels like a very hard enemy, and I kind of want to fight more of those. So creatures with legendary actions just seems like a good time.
Reasonable. Oh yeah. All right, Matt. Stars and wishes.
I am no longer a werewolf. That's a good one. I already mentioned it, but I really like these boards. I liked the setup for Edco and Taxel. I don't know why. I think it's also just because the board itself is very mysterious. I'm really sorry, but I'm really struggling.
No worries.
I don't know. I had fun tonight though. That's another star. No specifics necessarily because I don't remember. Because my wish is I wasn't so fucking tired.
Mm-hmm.
And that is partly my fault, partly not. So. Other wish. Oh, actually, Star. I'm almost glad we fight Werloka, because when you sent that to me, I was like, oh, that's dangerous. Which is why, when I was asked, what do I think I'm gonna be like, I was like, I think you are all gonna be fucked. Because I was like that.
You would be surprised, though. Is always the thing. You would be surprised.
Maybe.
I did tone back a little because for fun stuff, Werloka, the original creature, was based on the stat block for the Tyrannosaurus zombie. With a lot of shuffled a bunch of abilities around, a lot of very very mechanically similar, but a lot of abilities around. I did tone down the damage a little bit because that creature's normal damage is 33 hit points on average. Guess how much health Pejmina, Zoran, and Hasan all have? Exactly 33 hit points.
Like I said, I think that would have gone very poorly.
Yeah. so I toned it down a little bit. Not much, a little bit. Would have been bad. But interesting bad. Not like catastrophic.
You probably always have those that we think combat's going to be harder than it is, and then and then it's not. But this is a little different. A little different.
Yep. All right. Thanks, Matt.
Yeah.
Me. Stars. I'm just glad to be somewhere else. I'm very glad that we're no longer in the fascia. I'm glad we get to look at boards with green on them. I do like a lot of these locations. I've been doing a lot of work and curation and stuff in Tailspire to adapt them, and I think that is a lot of fun. I don't know, I'm just excited for more of this. Kind of a quest into the jungle to find a ruined temple is very fun. That sounds cool. I like that conceptually. Wishes. I also wish that I had been able to maintain some more tension in the skill challenge. I think if we had one more failure and it was then becoming the like, okay, cool, down to dice rolls being success or failure as the breaking point for success or failure in this moment would be fun. But yeah, I think I wish I had been able to hold tension on that a little bit more strongly. But travel's kind of hard, it turns out. Also wishes. Yeah, just, I mean, kind of looking forward to seeing how all of you do with adventuring far from home. You know? That's kind of a new thing for this
No more home
campaign.
base.
Yeah, and I'm excited about that. Caroline, stars and wishes.
Yeah, Star. I love the new boards. Absolutely love them. I think they're really cool. They're really interesting. There's so much more happening than just the markets or just expanse. So there's a lot to look at, and I like going in and seeing like all the little details, or it's just like, I was saying earlier on break, just like the mushrooms in Fear.
Yeah.
The little mushrooms, and just getting really excited about just seeing them, because they're there, they're everywhere, and I love it. I'm so here for it. Stars. I'm gonna be honest. I'm glad we didn't fight Loka. I did not want to fight him, and I'm glad we didn't. It's just because we are very much the wrong party comp to handle such things. I don't know. I personally don't think that would have been fun. So I'm actually kind of glad we didn't do it personally.
Mm-hmm.
Stars, this new NPC seems pretty cool. I'm pretty happy with them so far. I'm interested to see their husband, see how that goes. If they're okay, hopefully. Stars, learning about the history of like this place, like the architecture actually, and how it relates to Hav's Wrath is actually really interesting. There's a lot there that I guess can be implied, but just hasn't really been yet. So that's interesting to go into. Wishes. I also think a boss character would be kind of fun. Like a nice boss encounter. I think we're kind of due for one.
For sure.
So we'll see how that goes. Another wish is I'm very excited for like going into this ruin. Like going in, theoretically fighting things, but like having like, it sort of sounds like it might be a dungeon crawl. And I'm kind of here for that.
Who knows? Strokes chin.
So
It could be anything.
I kind of hope it is. I really hope it is, and we'll see how it goes.
Awesome. Thank you very much. Hannah, stars and wishes.
Stars. I also enjoyed the beginning cart stuff discussions, the game between Heisan and Heisan and Loka. That was nice. I liked that. Just improvising that. I also like getting to see new boards. Because I get to be in Tailspire a lot. And it's like, I know there's more bricks. I know there's more. But we never get to use them. And when we do get to use them, we can't show them yet. Because we're not there yet. So now we get to see more. What else? I think, honestly, unfortunately for me, my wishes list is a bit long this time. I was kind of hoping for something more intense. So I'm hoping that will kind of come up in the next session. Even if we didn't fight Loka, I feel like there could have been... I can think of ways that things could have been different. I think we can represent that later. Like, we can play things different in the next session.
Sure.
I don't I feel bad because it's like I don't want to be more negative than positive, but
Hey,
I'm
this
finding
is the place
myself
to communicate
wanting.
feedback.
Well, and I told you, you already know how I felt about the Loka fight, or like the potentia of a Loka Ware fight. You know what? My wish is that I had realized what I wanted sooner, because I know that at the end of last session I was waffling, and then in the time it took to get to the session, I realized I thought about it more, and I realized why I wanted that. So I wish I had expressed that sooner.
Great. Well, thank you all for playing. I'm glad everyone had fun, and I'm looking forward to playing again very soon. I will shoot our new When is Good shortly. And yeah, I'll see you all next time.
Oh yeah.
Sounds good. Have a good night, everyone.
Good
Night, y'all. Get some rest, Matt.
I'm gonna log out and just crash. So yeah.
Good night.
Night.
Night.